Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to round 6 of the Drift Masters 2024 Championship, and you're joining us here at Warsaw in Poland at the PGE Narodowy. That is correct. We have built a custom-built circuit inside a stadium inside the centre of Poland, and well, nerves couldn't be more on edge right now. As you can see down in the paddock, James Deane sits in his pits awaiting his top 16 battle. Lauri Heinonen, well, he enters his coach for maybe what might be the final time this evening. He grabs his headset and he will have a word of his crew, because the championship fight is well underway here in Poland. After 6 rounds, it could all come down to the next few battles. My name's Ian Waddington. I'm joined by my good friend Dave Egan. Dave, this afternoon was hot and heavy, and right about now it's time to turn up the oven to 11, because we are going to get this show on the road.
Absolutely, Ian. I was down with Lauri Heinonen on the parade, and he said to me, it's just one more battle. Just one more battle. And he said, I'm trying to block out, but how can you block it out? 50,000, the pyro, the lights, the smoke. The emotion on that circuit right now. And Lauri Heinonen said to me, one more battle. That's all it's going to take from him. So this is how the story unfolded throughout the year. Round 1 in Spain, we had Kevin Bazor taking top step on the podium, our rookie of the year last year. And it was James Deane getting back in the mix after missing round 1 and winning his home event in Ireland. Lauri Heinonen started the charge with a fairy tale win at his home soil in Finland. And then Conor Shanahan crowned King of Riga in Latvia. And then it was Lauri Heinonen again in Hungary. So who's it going to be tonight? Well, what we do know is we will have a champion crowned. We will have a winner of the biggest drift event in the world. And this is why 50,000 fans from all across the globe ready to see the best in the business go head-to-head. This is the story so far. Duane McKeever went up against Steve Baggsy-Biaggioni in the top 32 to stay in the championship fight. And luckily, he did stay in the championship fight, as Baggsy making a few errors in front of him, but Duane looking super strong, qualifying first in the showdown, and he won his top 32 battle against a very, very worthy opponent in Steve Baggsy-Biaggioni. But there was plenty of tail lights, headlights, and bits of spoiler all over the round by the end of that one. And as you can see, the fans were pouring in the top 32, but we are packed out now. Duane McKeever said, this is just insane. That's the words he used in the parade. Then it was last year's champion, Conor Shanahan. Well, he's trying to aim for 3rd step on the podium, or the podium for the championship tonight. That's technically possible for him if he won the event. He went up against Mika Keskukorpi, and Mika just making a couple of errors in the transitions behind him. Shanahan was proving pretty strong. It was a rough start to the season for Shanahan. He had a couple of mechanical failures, and it knocked him out of championship contention. But he said, you know what? If I win here tonight 2 years in a row, that means he'll have won in front of over 100,000 people live in just 2 events. That's a very good point from Conor Shanahan. He said this is the big one, and he's having a great time all the way through this event. He said the pressure's off for sure this time. He said he's all about showing what he's capable of. Mika Keskukorpi said he had a pretty good season, happy with how he progressed in that new chassis. And this is the man of the moment, the contender for 2024 champion. He came 2nd in the series lecture, he came 2nd in the event, and he came 2nd into that collision in the top 32 as Adam Zalewski lost control in front of him. And Lauri Heinonen said the car is dying, the engine is dying, and then he got damage on the front of the car. He said he was praying to the car to just say, give me one more battle, just give me one more. So Lauri Heinonen trying not to let the emotion of the event calculate everything. Then it's the man that can beat him, the only man that can beat Lauri Heinonen, and that depends on Lauri losing that top 16 battle, is James Deane. The way it sits right now, if Lauri Heinonen was to lose his top 16 battle and James Deane won the event, James Deane would be champion. But there's a lot of ifs and buts between then and now, and it really all comes down to Lauri Heinonen. But James Deane said he's not really thinking about the championship. He said he wants to win this event. He had missed this event last year due to a clash of events. This year, he said, this is the craziest event he's ever seen, and he wants to win it, because he said, I've won everything in drifting, but this one would be special. So he's got his own personal motivations in there, Ian.
He certainly has, Dave, and look, he's driving like a champion, he's driving like a man who wants it, and this was inside the bus when James Deane won that battle. Lauri Heinonen gives him a round of applause, and he says, yeah, fair play, you are worthy of taking me all the way to the rope on this one. Let's take a look at the championship standings, Dave. This is how the points stack up right now in competition after top 32. So Lauri Heinonen at the moment, 389 points, James Deane, 321, Duane McKeever now mathematically out of winning the championship with 312 points.
So it's a 2-horse race. Heinonen wins his top 16 battle, he's champion, and then we just decide who's going to win the biggest event of them all. However, if Heinonen loses his top 16 battle, and he's got a very tough battle against Benediktas Čirba, Deane would have to win the entire event. And there's no man that's won more entire events than James Deane. So Let's have a look back at what this special moment meant to our drivers as they rocked out of the tunnel in front of 50,000 fans. And drivers saying that they never imagined years ago when they stepped behind the wheel of one of these cars that they would ever be in a position like this. And their fans, their family, everybody behind them. And we've got drivers from all over the globe. Teemu Peltola in the diesel wagon. We've Adam LZ from the USA. People from every corner of the world are here on the grid. And I gotta say, I'm so pumped up to see how they've reacted to it. And I guess there's a huge amount of sacrifice. You've got to take big risks to be a top-level drifter. You've got to sacrifice so many different, avenues and career paths to be here. And it's been worth it. They got to the glory land, as they said. They got to that end point where they look up in the stands and say, it's a big one when you can't even see the people. They're so high up. Yeah. And it's wild, right? You can see previous 3-time champion Peter Więcek saying to Lauri Heinonen, it's your time now, Lauri. Go out there and get it. But it's still going to be high stress, high pressure, and the Finnish fans have filled most of the stadium ready for this big moment. It's the Irish fans that are here supporting. Well, they may not have that opportunity like they had last year.
No, certainly not, Dave, but some people will just relish in the moment. You can see Adam LZ relishing that moment. James Deane said he was going to just take it all in, take in every single moment. If it doesn't go his way tonight, and he doesn't win the championship, and he doesn't end up winning the event, he said, even still, being out there on circuit in front of all of these fans, he said, is just simply mind-blowing. And look, there's a man who's happy. The crowd recreated the Polish flag earlier on, and he was a man. He had a little tear in his eye, Dave.
Oh, for sure.
But it wasn't from the tractor.
No. And I tell you what, you're going to see the tractor a little bit tonight because big storm outside. They're wetting the track inside to make conditions consistent as opposed to letting a big downpour of rain ruin the whole top 16. And of course, you can't have the roof closed without the water because the smoke will set off the fire systems and also be very, very poisonous to everybody who's in here because there's nowhere for the smoke to go. So a controlled surface from start to finish, although I spoke to some drivers saying it's getting sketchy out there. There's rubber being laid down in certain areas, but one thing they did say is it's the same for everybody. So now it's not really about horsepower or your engine package or your car. It's about driver ability. Mono a mono. And you know what? I love finishing it like this when it's just down to the drivers. Forget the grip, forget the power. It's just about mindset and ability. Let's have a look at the track though. As you come off the start line, it is an interesting initiation. You can do a couple of different things here. You can go straight line, you can mangy in, and then it's these yellow outside walls. Check out them. You've got to get your rear bumper as close as possible to those outer zones. And we got an inner zone here. Then you transition on the inside, of front bumper on the wall there, transition back out to these two outer zones again. Those yellow zones are the start and finish of the zones. You want to be close to them, but not in them and wrecking the car. Then we got one in the middle of the track. That's the only safe zone on the track. Then you transition back. This is definitely not safe as you're coming at big speed into these last two outer zones. It's a figure of 8, but it's a bit more complicated than that when you've got so much lack of, I suppose, predictable water surface on the ground. You also have these drivers who are under high, intense pressure and cars that want to grip up at every possibility. Do you run the car with high grip? Do you run it with low grip? You can see James Deane discussing with some of the fans and friends his tactics going into the top 16. But I think what I'm going to translate here is he said the exact same thing to me. He said some parts of the track are like ice, some parts have loads of grip, and you just as a driver have to instantly work through that. And I guarantee you, Lauri Heinonen, they've been checking every bolt, everything on that car has been checked. What I've heard from Heinonen is the car is not well. The car is dying in power, and he said if the event was dry, he'd be in serious problems now. But because there's a wet surface, he can actually get around some of those with the car running less horsepower. I mean, you talk about drama.
I mean, it is drama. It's high pressure, it's high drama, and you can see the guys down there in the paddock now working away. Here we go. This is our top 16 day for this evening. We're going to go all the way through to the final tonight, so don't miss an inch of this because it's battle on battle, mono on mono, as you say, Dave. And every one of these looks like a final. Duane McKeever.
And every one of them believes they can win it too.
Oh,
but the big highlighted battle, Heinonen and Čirba, that's where all the eyes are right now. That is for the championship. Heinonen beats Čirba. He is your 2024 Drift Masters champion. If he loses, and I'm going to reiterate this, Deane would have to win the entire event and then he would be champion. That's the only two conclusions. If Heinonen gets the championship in the 16, then it's open season for whoever can win the biggest drift event of them all, and we're all in for a very, I would say, more relaxed atmosphere, more fun atmosphere. But for Heinonen, it's not fun right now. No. As you highlight, Deane and Korpuliński, and they're coming up right beside each other. So also, Heinonen loses, Deane loses, then Heinen's champion. So just a lot of little things to play out, right? A lot can go on. So the fans are ready, the stadium's ready, and I'll tell you what, we are ready. For the final time this year, we're in a stadium, and we are ready to see who's going to be crowned champion. Let's head to the top 16. We are live for the first battle of our top 16 at the final of Drift Masters, and the Irishman, Duane McKeever, he was first in qualifying, he won the qualifying showdown, and now he's technically mathematically out of the championship, but he can still win the event, and they said that's the focus now, to win the biggest event of the year. McKeever's been unstoppable so far, but he's up against one of the master classes of European drifting in Juha Rintanen. Rintanen has been to the mountaintop, he's won the titles, and now two heavyweights step into the ring and into the arena for a gladiatorial battle in this top 16. Rintanen laser focused and visor down. McKeever slots it into gear, and we're ready to send him for the final time in 2024. The top 16 is underway. McKeever to lead in Rintanen.
Yeah, look at this, no messing around already. Look at Rintanen going for that straight line approach, jumps straight onto the rear quarter of Duane McKeever. They both get into the outside zone, a little tussle onto the wall from both drivers, and now they start to pick up the throttle. They look for that transition, come through and down. Good transition back from Rintanen as McKeever leads them into this long outside zone 4. A little shallow line there from Rintanen. He's having to keep up with McKeever. He's got the pace as they fire through the middle of the circuit. The pyro erupts, and now Rintanen makes a big dive. Second to last outside zone. Time to make the move for Rintanen. Can he get onto the door? Of course he can. Dives once again, back bumper to the wall, across the line.
Well, I'll tell you what, we are going to be here for a while, because nobody's backing down right now as Rintanen comes in with a lot of aggression on McKeever, and I think Rintanen's approach is right. He knows McKeever's got that lead run down. He knows he's top qualifier. He could risk it, and he did. Stayed as close as he could throughout the run, and I've got to say, not many mistakes in this one.
No, not many mistakes at all, to be honest with you, Dave. A little bobble on outside zone 1 for both drivers, but nevertheless, it was very, very clean, and Rintanen maybe lost a little ground as they come down to the second to last outside zone, but apart from that, it was a good chase, but a very, very good lead.
I don't think, I mean, when we get closer to the top here, every driver here has obviously competed at this point, won a battle at this point, qualified at this point, so they all have this track dialed in. Now we're going to start to see drivers that aren't going to be able to win events, or win a battle rather, without pushing that little bit extra, and that's where the mistakes come from. In that particular battle, McKeever and Rintanen not pushing to 1,000,000% there, just being smooth and excitable. And I tell you what, Rintanen now in the lead. McKeever has an opportunity, just a small one, to be super aggressive here, but hey, if you go too aggressive, you can throw it all away. Let's see what happens. This game of chess continues as Rintanen will lead in McKeever.
Yeah, look at this, the bumper already down on McKeever's car as he pulled away from the line. No messing around, a big flick from both guys. Look at McKeever. It matches the initiation of Juha Rintanen both into the outside zone. It's a beautiful lead line so far from Juha Rintanen. We look for that transition on the wall. It's absolutely textbook. And Duane McKeever deals with it. A little dab of the foot brake, sets himself up nicely now on the throttle. McKeever starts to find the side of that GR86. They're into the wall, and it's an absolutely beautiful tit-for-tat battle at the moment as they come through the centre of the circuit. Good transition back. McKeever cannot be lost as Rintanen slows down. McKeever deals with it, and that is unbelievable driving from Duane McKeever. He tags the side, and the rear wheel of Juha Rintanen.
McKeever nearly threw it away on the last zone. He went in a little too heavy.
He needed the aggression, Dave.
He did. I think he got a little overconfident, and you can see he's pumped up in the car, loosened the straps to get out and get the result. I'll tell you what a lead run from Juha Rintanen, but it gave every opportunity to Duane McKeever to get as close and aggressive as possible. I've got to say, this initiation for me was risky. He went in there not sure what was going to happen, and luckily for McKeever, Rintanen was on rails.
He certainly was, and he had that perfect lead line. It just encouraged a nice chase as well from Duane McKeever. Look at this as they come through him. A completely mirror image, every single move that Rintanen made, McKeever was there with him, Dave, and it was just beautiful to see.
You are watching the best of the best here.
Oh, without doubt.
You try and to show someone this 5 years ago, that these drivers could do this, you wouldn't have believed it. You'd stand there with your jaw on the floor. Now we're seeing it run after run, and battle after battle. McKeever here, I thought he was going to absolutely send them into the wall, and somehow he locked the front brakes, the back brakes, everything, and managed to hold it there. But just at the end, McKeever gets a little bit too anxious. Or maybe Rintanen touches the wall. I think McKeever gets a little deep there, and he goes, whoa. They both, a lot of drivers saying just at that point there, there's a lack of grip for some reason. So I think they both ended up in a, you know, I'll tell you, both great lead runs, more proximity than from McKeever on the chase run. That's how I'm seeing it.
Yeah.
But the judges are going to discuss it and see what they think of it. We don't make any decisions, guys. You know, we are very unimportant when it comes to the decision, but we give you our opinion. That's all we can do. And let's see if our opinion matches the opinion of the judges. Duane McKeever and Juha Rintanen. Look at that little sly smile from Duane McKeever, a little wink to the camera. And Juha Rintanen looking nervous. The Finnish fans,
well, they're nervous.
These guys are ready to pull the track apart at the end of the night, all dressed ready. Look at this, nerves, the nerves in the grandstands. I love to see it. And here we go. It's going to be the Irish or the Finnish going through to the top 8. Will it be McKeever? Will it be Juha Rintanen? Rintanen doesn't put a foot wrong. McKeever a little bit more aggression. And it's Duane McKeever. Duane McKeever gets the win and goes to the top 8. And I think pretty obvious decision from where we're sitting, Ian. 2 great lead runs. McKeever just had a superb chase run. Lots more proximity. And wherever you're watching from, you're going to say the closer driver in the chase that holds it together wins.
Gets the win, Dave, and not only gets the win, secures 3rd place in the championship for 2024.
So there is finishing top 3 in the championship, guaranteed Duane McKeever. So he will be your 3rd place in the championship, meaning that James Deane and Lauri Heinonen still have to fight it out for 1st and 2nd with some potential bits and bobs in there, but we'll get to that when we get to that as we move it along. 2 absolute crazy men are pulling to the line. One of them's not even running petrol, he's running diesel. He's got 5.5 bar boost. It is Teemu Peltola from Finland and that amazing Mercedes wagon. Well, he's an entertainer. I'll tell you who else is an entertainer. Piskolty. Kevin Piskolty from Hungary looks like one of the best on the track this weekend. He's going to be tough to beat.
But we haven't seen him tested yet. He hasn't been tested. Top 32, he got hit in the bag from Josiah Falaise from Canada, and he didn't. All he did was complete a run, and the car was bent at the time. So as of yet, Kevin Piskolty hasn't really pushed himself to the limit.
No, he has not.
Peltola had a really good battle.
And I'll tell you what, both of these guys going in with a little bit of confidence, a little bit of momentum here. Diesel versus petrol. V8 versus whatever diesel 6 cylinders in that, because I'm not too up. But look at the only man making smoke on the track tonight is Teemu Peltola as he chases in the Hungarian Kevin Piskolty.
Yeah, Piskolty's on one. Finished 4th. Oh, and look at this. Too far into the wall goes Peltola, attacks that rear wheel and upsets that line. And that leaves Kevin Piskolty to now start to drive away, put a little bit of ground between himself and the Finnish driver as Piskolty gets into outside zone 4. He's on an absolute flyer, and the tyre has come off of the rear of Peltola's car. He's down to 3 tyres. I'm not sure he's going to be able to completely finish this, and he's going to go for it, that's for sure. He's on a rim and 3 tyres as Peltola goes for the outside zone. Kevin Piskolty keeps himself in it, absolutely foot to floor from both guys. But look at this, Teemu Peltola.
Well, I mean, a lot of drivers saying there's grip out there. There's not when you've only one tyre.
With no tyres.
So that hit on the first corner knocked off Peltola's tyre, and I'm jumping into the rule book. I'm jumping into the rule book, meaning he cannot start the second run, which was there.
Look at that.
Oh my goodness. The tyre is not in good shape. And so basically Peltola will see his own tyre, he'll know this from in the car, and that will be Peltola not able to go to the start line on the second run. Just in case you're worried, he definitely has no tyre, and that means that he will be out of competition. Therefore the win will go to Piskolty, which means that Piskolty has only done 2 runs to win 2 battles, and he's in the top 8.
Crazy.
Because we had Josiah Falaise crash into Piskolty on the first battle in the top 32. Piskolty now will turn around and go, why he never gets to chase anyone.
That's crazy. And then when he comes
through comes through here, the tyre just goes, is that the exit? That's the exit, right? I'm just going to leave here.
Boom.
And it comes out through the boot lid of the car,
That's crazy.
Tyre was trying to make a run for the tunnel. Look, it's like, oh, there's the exit. Can I get out of here? This man's crazy. I need to get out of here. So the tyre, doesn't make it quite all the way. And he's back up on the roof. He's back on the roof. Watch out for the vent. He fell into the vent in top 32. He's figured it out now. But you know what? Always an entertainer. What a phenomenal addition to the championship, to the full season this year.
Yes.
Is Teemu Peltola. That guy loves him. He loves him. Look at the emotion. He's like, Teemu. But unfortunately, Kevin Piskolty's like, can I get a chase run, please, at any point tonight? That would be fantastic. Everybody keeps messing up behind him, but you know what? He'll take it.
He will take it.
Piskolty's like, I don't know. I'm just going to go in and do another initiation and get myself into the top 8. So, you know, sometimes, to be honest, to Piskolty, his lead run was very good.
It was very, very good.
So he's really only just doing lead runs, but he seems to be very confident in them.
And look, any driver would take Lady Luck on their side any day of the week if they can, because this championship isn't easy, and when you get an easy ride sometimes, that's when it all really plays out. Look at this.
Yeah, well, look, you can have the machinery, you can have the talent, but there's always one thing in sport that happens, and that's luck and variables. And a bit of Piskolty, if you look back to Finland, had a leak before his top 32 battle that was knocked out of competition. Here he is on the opposite end of the scale with luck, getting 2 battle wins without really having to push too hard. No. So drifting over its time balances off, right? That's what we've always learned. Sometimes it works in your favor, sometimes it works against you. But for Kevin Piskolty, it's worked in his favor tonight, and he will move on to our top 8. And he'll be happy with that.
He will be very happy with that, indeed.
Of
course, we do need to make it official.
Yeah.
Tractor will go back out to quickly dampen the surface of the track.
It looked like the water just came out of the door.
Out of the door, he opened the door.
Car.
Kevin Piskolty's got all the tricks.
Yeah. Kevin Piskolty from Hungary will get the win and go through to the top 8. Look at that. All the bad luck this year is all, you won't remember any of it. It'll be like, it was a great year. I got a top 8, the biggest drift event of all time. The Hungarian fans are there going, yeah, Kevin, we can do it.
We can
and
do
you know
it,
what?
Kevin.
He could do it. He could do it. This could be the night that Kevin Piskolty gets his first big win in Drift Masters. He's been threatening it for quite some time. And Piskolty heads back into the tunnel as the tractor comes back out to lay a little bit of water on the track. We say, interesting fact, the most expensive vehicle on the circuit this weekend.
Yeah,
and I don't know why tractors are so expensive, but I'm sure someone knows why. I guess they'd get more work day to day than the drift cars do, right?
Yeah. I mean, once a month for a drift car.
This guy, look, next two people drive a tractor. He's just, I'm just going for a passenger spin. Just going out there. You know what? I reckon that guy got offered. Do you want to go out with James Deane? No, I want to go out in the tractor.
Yeah.
The tractor, look at that. Pressing some levers. Or whatever you do in a tractor.
I don't know.
We don't know. Me and you would still be in the tunnel trying to start.
Wouldn't even be able to start it. Yeah, wouldn't be able to move it.
Exactly. Well, this guy's done more laps of the track than anybody this weekend, so he's getting used to it. Judges say his line is getting better as time goes on. So we just re-moisten the track so the conditions are all the same. We move on to our next battle, and it will be Conor Shanahan to go up against Juha Pöytälaakso. And now, you might think, Conor Shanahan, current champion, he will be dethroned probably within the next 20 minutes. However, he is going up against a driver that I think could be the dark horse this weekend, which is Juha Pöytälaakso, because he has been phenomenal in his chase runs. And normally, on paper, you look at the rankings, you would probably put this in the favor of Conor Shanahan. Tonight, I'm going to say, I'm putting this on form at the moment, right back at 50-50, because Juha, the Finnish driver, has been looking more comfortable on this circuit than any circuit this year.
I think you're right, Dave. I'm going to agree. His lead lines and his chasing have been really, really good so far. But he is going up against a man who was on the top step of the podium here last year, the man who is defending his championship.
And defending the title of, you know, king of the PGE Narodowy, I guess.
Yeah,
king of the stadiums. So let's see what happens when we go to this. I'm just going to put it out there that I think this is going to be closer than you think. I think this is going to be a real tough affair. And I think Conor Shanahan's spotter will have watched Juha Pöytälaakso and said, he's no walkover here. He's going to be coming for a fight. And the good thing for Conor is he's leading first, so he can just do his own thing. But I think Juha's going to come for it, and he had a great initiation in his top 32 battles. So keep an eye on that green E92 in the chase position on initiation. If he can stay with Conor on the run-up, I think this is going to be one for the history books. I think it's going to be fireworks here. I have a feeling this is one of those nights where everything that you look at on paper and say it's going to happen rankings-wise might just go another way. Let's see what happens.
That could be
Conor Shanahan slots the car into gear. Juha Pöytälaakso says, you know what, I fancy a bit of a podium tonight, and I've got to go through last year's champion, and I reckon I can do it. He's got confidence, he's got the laser focus, and he's finished, which means he's got that deadpan ready to go. Look at this, they're very, very committed. Can he stay with him on the run-up? Pöytälaakso goes for that last-ditch dive, and he gets in there into the pocket, and here we go.
Yeah, here we go. Shanahan on that nice lead line on the little foot brake there, just trying to keep that car balanced in the outside zone. Now I come through into this inner clipping point, and they transition back, and Pöytälaakso deadly on that transition. Sets himself up nicely for outside zone for a while. He's slowed down and gripped up. Now he's on the inside. Now he has to work to get back up onto the door, onto the rear quarter of Conor Shanahan's GTX6. Oh, and a little wobble once again. Pöytälaakso not ready for that transition. The Shanahan shallows up the angle, and the second to last outside zone. Pöytälaakso now sets himself up, looks for the door across the line.
Oh, a couple of errors creeping in there. Some great driving at moments. I think it was a really good first half of the run, but we're going to have a check on the replay, and we can just show you some moments that I spotted that I was like, nah, I don't think he wanted to do that. That's something that happened. So I have a feeling that, here we go, into the first corner, nice mirroring from both drivers. And right now, Conor Shanahan absolutely inch perfect on that lead run. But look at this, Juha right there with him. This is all going really, really well. Juha just transitions pretty good here, not super close to the wall, but he gets it done. This is where he runs into trouble. He goes a little too wide, and then he kind of lays off the throttle, and then he ends up on the middle of the track. So he starts accelerating down the inside, gets it wheel to wheel rather than wheel on door, and that's a bit of a mistake. And then, as you mentioned, Ian, live, he just mistimes this transition a little bit. It's a bit delayed. He waits for Shanahan to make the move, and then all of a sudden he makes the move. So he loses that bit of ground. However, no major errors, just small ones.
Small ones.
So it's still in the balance.
But over the course of the run, it kind of looks like a big error.
Yeah, it does.
Big error. So Here we go, time to play it off though. If Juha Pöytälaakso can lay down an incredible lead line and see what Conor Shanahan could do in the chase. Juha Pöytälaakso off through the gears now to lead out Conor Shanahan. Flicks the car across the circuit, goes for a nice early initiation. Shanahan goes for the door, shallows up, now sets himself into the outside zone, glues himself to the door. He's very close here. He needs to be careful that Shanahan doesn't get himself pinched. Oh, Pöytälaakso hits the wall. Shanahan hits Pöytälaakso in the back. Now they fire and fight into this outside zone 4. Oh, this is a tussle between these two guys. As Shanahan starts nudging the front wheel of Pöytälaakso's BMW. They transition through the middle. They look for that second to last outside zone. Shanahan still glued to the door, touching the wheel, touching the door. As they go for the line, Shanahan bullies Pöytälaakso.
I just got to bring it back. There was a crash there, and it just carried on.
Shanahan's car's damaged.
No, I'll tell you what happened. It looked to me like Pöytälaakso hits the wall. Shanahan hits Pöytälaakso because he hits the wall, and somehow they both end up in the same position back on the door again, hitting each other. So let's see what happens.
It looked like Conor Shanahan's car, the front wheel was damaged, but it isn't. From that camera angle, looks like it's all good.
I'll tell you what, the judges are having a good debate over this one. It's going to come down to that inner wall clip. We're going to watch it again in the replay, but I've just overheard an argument in the background,
yeah.
which is great because every judge, you know, has their individual.
Conor just said, "I hit you in the back."
Yeah.
When you hit the front.
Yeah. But this is look at
super
the
aggressive
from Shanahan here. And I got to say, Pöytälaakso's lead run really good to this point. Well, as he transitions back, Conor's right there on the bumper. Pöytälaakso hits the wall, doesn't slow a major amount, but maybe frightens himself a little bit. So we're going to have a look at
I kind of know what I think the judges are talking about here, Dave.
So it's going to be down to whether Conor Shanahan went too fast and hit him, or Pöytälaakso's hitting the wall caused that impact.
I think it's after that.
You think it's after that?
After Pöytälaakso hits the wall, Conor hits Pöytälaakso, and I think the judges are going to say that Pöytälaakso was, look, he couldn't transition.
No, but I'll tell you what, does Pöytälaakso lift off the throttle as a bit of a fright from hitting the wall?
Well, that could be a decision for an argument for another day, but I think that's what the judges are looking at. Did Conor impede the transition of Juha Pöytälaakso?
But was he slower on the transition because he hit the wall?
Oh,
we're now, here we are.
Hey.
Me and you, Ian, and another argument.
Let me just say, it's been 6 rounds.
We love arguing.
My brain is fried. I don't know if I want to argue anymore.
Why can't it just be simple? Why can't one driver just... Why can't we go back 10 years when one driver just spins out and that's the end of it?
No,
now it's
boring.
so close. Yeah,
that's boring.
Now, take the rest of the 2 runs. Excellent from the lead and chase.
Incredible.
It's just that moment on that inner zone that I feel the judges are going to say one of 2 things. One is Shanahan impeded the transition, or Pöytälaakso hits the wall, slows, and that's why Shanahan gets into the back of him. There's one went too fast, one went too slow. We don't know.
No,
but we don't have to decide. We're like the prosecution and the defense up here. So let's see which way the judges go. The decision is going to be locked in, and I think it's going to be an interesting one to see which way the judges go. And they're having a discussion between themselves. They both won't know who's at fault, but let's see which way. Who's going to go to the top 8 here at Drift Masters finale in Poland. Judges' scores are locked in. And it is Conor Shanahan gets the win. Conor Shanahan gets the win and goes through to our grade 8. Quickly over to you, Kevin. So we were having a little debate amongst ourselves. So there was a bit of a tussle on the inner zone. That's kind of what it all came down to, I'd imagine. What way do you guys see it?
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Dave. It definitely came down to that contact at the inner zone, and what we really had to do was analyse who was at fault for that, because it was overall the deciding factor of that battle. And we could see that coming towards it, he checked up a little bit, and as you can see right here, his rear wheels start to slow down, and therefore he's decelerating in a non-decelerating part of the track. Therefore, that contact was caused by Conor. What we think happened is he knew that he was going to make contact with the wall, backed out of it slightly, and therefore then that caused Conor to come into the rear of his car. Realistically, that was the deciding factor of the entire battle, and Conor gets the win.
There you go, Ian. So you were wrong. Just to put that out there. Not joking. It was a tough one to call.
It was a tough one.
It was a tough one to call.
And I know nothing.
And also, we've never advertised that we know anything. So
No,
that's why we have the judges.
I'd never told anyone I knew about drifting.
We are just stupid opinions flying around in the air.
Yep.
And that's what you sign up for, guys, to listen to us. Try and assume what's going on. But we weren't too far off, and we move on to our next battle. And it's going to be a big one for the Polish fans here in attendance, because while one Shanahan moves on to the top 8, another has a 3-time champion for company here in the top 16. Peter Więcek, Jack Shannon, they met in competition quite a few times this year. In Hungary last, if I remember it, and it was Jack Shanahan getting the win that time around, as Peter Więcek had contact with the wall. He won't want to repeat that, not here in front of a full house. So Peter Więcek said he was very emotional to see so many of his, so many Polish fans from drifting here in this stadium. I mean, he said himself, he's driven by this stadium when it was built, and never did he imagine we would be here having a drift event. And he's played such a crucial role in that, as being an ambassador for the sport, and an ambassador here in Poland, and winning 3 championships and going across to the US and doing really well across the world. And now he has Jack Shanahan for company, and 2 drivers that will know instantaneously when they saw the draw, this is going to be a tough one. This one is going to be not easy. And Jack Shanahan, for me, comes in with less form here. He comes in with a very lucky win in the top 32. And Jack Shanahan, I spoke to him briefly before the parade as well. He said, that cannot happen again. I'm going to get knocked out here. So this is going to be full on, turn it up to 11, the best in the business, going head-to-head here for a spot in the top 8. And I can't wait to see what happens. Więcek will lead in Jack Shanahan into the first corner. Expect these two to be in a position where they are going to know that a simple, safe run is not going to do any harm here. It's got to be exceptional. Here we go.
Yeah, here we go. Through they go. They get the signal for Starline Marshall Martin. And Shanahan now looks down the side of that Super. Oh, he fires big angle at it, but it was a weird initiation from Więcek as they now come through the middle of the circuit. Shanahan now looks to go for the dive and leaves him some room, and now starts to apply the pressure. Look at that big surge forward from Jack Shanahan on to the side of that A90 Supra. They fire through the middle of the circuit. Now Shanahan's driving aggressive. Oh, and a big flick and a mistake from Peter as they fire into that second to last outside zone. Shanahan goes for the door. Both guys into the wall and into each other as they cross the line.
Oh, do you know what? There was a lot of mistakes on both sides, but I've got to say, from his amazing runs so far, Peter Więcek having some issues there.
Yeah, I want to see the initiation again, because Więcek didn't look like he was really dialed in. Fired the car in, watch this, on the handbrake for a long time, gets on throttle,
hits the wall.
Missed it. He tags the wall, pushes himself out of the zone.
So he goes in a little too hot, a little too air. I think it looks sort of mid-line in there, bounces off the wall. Shannon kind of avoids it.
He has to back out.
Back out of it. So let's see how we go from here. So Shannon now playing catch-up. Więcek does a good job here on the inner zone. Really solid. Shannon chasing him through. It looked to me as well, similar issue here. Does Więcek go in the wall? Tags the wall there, and then it gets back on it again. Jack again doing that thing where you go, another heavy hit with the wall from Peter Więcek. Jack Shannon, though, still making a few errors in the chase position and getting on the inside. And I think Peter Więcek almost over-rotates here. He's on massive angle now. Could be a tactic, could be the way he's doing that corner, but there's some errors in the lead.
Peter's hitting the wall quite consistently, quite hard throughout that run. When you look at it from
But then
the
I also look at in the chase, I think Shanahan does make errors that are unforced. He's kind of on the inside of the circuit, again falling in with too much grip in the car. So I think this one's still in the balance, but there's definitely no clean lead and chase there. Let's see what happens when we turn him around. This time it's Jack Shannon to lead in Peter Więcek, and Więcek's going to have to really be on it here.
Yeah, he certainly is, and he's already aggressive. He's very aggressive. Oh, wow, he slots it in there, into the pocket. That was beautiful from the Polishman as they fire through. Look at this. Onto the back bumper he goes. Shanahan fires. They look for outside zone 4, and there is no shaking that Super. It's glued to the door of the GT86. This is unbelievable from the Polishman right now. They are holding on. Shanahan is being bullied right here in Poland, and there is no way that Więcek is going to go down in his home ground. And look at this. Door to door, wheel to wheel. One more outside zone. Oh, wow!
That is an unbelievable chase run from Peter Więcek. He knew he made the mistakes in the lead, and he knew he had to do something special. I've got to say, that was absolutely incredible in these conditions. He threw caution to the wind. There is nothing left on the table in that battle, and Jack Shannon will have felt the breath of air on his neck the whole way around the arena. Check this out on the replay. I thought he was going to put him straight in the wall here. Look at the proximity. Unbelievable.
It was the way he slotted into the zone and stayed there on the foot brake, and then got that car balanced perfectly. Look at this. Every single transition was beautiful. That was one of the best, if not the best chases I have seen at this stadium.
Well, now I'm just going to add this up and say, we know for a fact Jack Shannon had the better lead run. We know for an absolute fact that Peter Więcek had the better chase run. So let's see which way the judges weigh in on this one, because Peter was flawless there. But then, remember, Jack's not hitting the wall and wobbling like Peter was in his lead. It's over the 2 runs. So, my thought process here,
I don't have one. It's gone.
Is tough, because you got to look at the way the judges are this. Lead runs, right? They're really heavily on them, saying kind of a good chase without a good lead. It is a better lead from Shannon to give Peter this opportunity, but the opportunity he takes with 2 hands and makes probably the best chase run we've seen all weekend. So there's so much to talk about on both sides that I would not like to be a judge here, because you've got to lean both ways here. The lead is excellent from Shanahan, the chase is excellent from Więcek, and then it's kind of scrappy the first time around, right? So, I don't know.
Look how close he is.
It's ridiculous. Like, you think they're driving around here in 2,000 euro meters, the way they're driving these things.
And then they get out and they laugh about it.
They're driving around in probably two-bed apartments worth of cars,
They're
on
like,
walls, and then just smiling.
Peter was like, he crashed into you, you crashed into me.
Yeah, well, look at the two of them are there, and the two of them don't know, and we don't know, and as far as I can tell, the judges don't know, because I'm looking across the room and seeing a lot of replays being played here.
They're very happy.
The Polish fans are happy. The Irish fans are going, did we win? No, we didn't win yet.
She's like,
she's like, did we win yet?
Oh, God, I'm on camera.
There's no decisions. You're live.
You're live.
You're live
fine.
to everybody around the world.
Yep.
Don't worry about it. So there is going to be some decisions, and I think this is going to be a very tough one for the judges. You've got an incredible chase run from Peter Więcek, you've got an incredible lead run from Shanahan, and then you've got scrappiness everywhere else. So mistakes from Więcek, does it balance off with the unbelievable chase run that he did? That's all he could do.
That's all he could do
was go out there and do what he did. So he made the mistakes, he got himself back into it. Which way will the judges go? Will it be Więcek? Will it be Shanahan? It's going to be a split decision. It's Peter Więcek getting the win. Peter Więcek gets the win and goes through to the top 8. And Peter Więcek, well, he's over the moon with this. He's struggled to get to top 8s this year in that car, but it's all coming together. And why wouldn't it here in front of his home fans? And you can see they're all pumped up for this one. We're going to take a quick throw back to Kevin. Kevin, what an incredible chase run for Peter Więcek, but he did make some mistakes in the lead. So what way did you guys break it down?
Absolutely, you said it, Dave. Peter had an absolutely phenomenal chase run, but he did have quite a poor lead run, in my opinion. And as we always say, you can't have a good chase without a good lead. So therefore, in my opinion, then I think Jack didn't get the opportunity to have as good of a chase as Peter did. And you switch him around then, and Jack had a relatively good lead run overall. So for me, I thought it was relatively close. But unfortunately, or should I say, David and Matty said that on the initiation, Jack had an independent mistake from Peter, and that was why their decision swayed over to Peter overall. So very close battle.
Yeah, and just while we were listening to you, Kevin, we're noticing some problems on track for Toruń and Kvia. Car shut down in the burnout box, and it looks like there's an issue with getting that car started back up again. He's due to head-to-head with Adam LZ in the top 16, and we are sitting here waiting for Toruń and Kvia to see what problem the car has. Adam LZ is ready to go. I guess he's heading to the start line, and the clock will start 2 minutes to get Kvia to the start line, and he cannot put hands on the car, really. He has to get that thing moving some way, shape or form. So this is unprecedented. You can see the whole media team out there. Something going on, and Kvia has got to try and figure it out. Something's come loose, something is a problem, and he cannot go back into the pits to fix it. He's got to fix it here in 2 minutes. It's something, is it a vacuum hose? Is it something electrical? You can see everybody trying to get that car moving and get that car trying to start again. This is panic drama again on circuit as we go from one battle now into absolute frantic behavior from Toruń and Kvia. Less than 1 minute 20 to get that car started.
Yeah, it's absolute panic down there, and I think he's ready to go. I think he looks like he's fixed the issue. Look at the panic on Kvia as he slams that car shut. He knows he needs to be at the start line.
Well, can he get it done? And he's got to get himself harnessed back into the car and ready to go. Now, will the car start? It's trying to start.
Well, Adam LZ sits on the line.
Yeah, he's trying. So it's an electrical issue with the car. So he's back out of the car again. It's an electrical issue with Kvia's car. It's something just not starting right. He's had to look at the wiring, look at the fuses. Has something popped? Has something broken? Kvia cannot send the car back into the pits. He's got to fix it himself and get to the start line. He's less than a minute on the clock now. He's getting very close to the, 33 seconds,
wow.
30 seconds. I'm not sure he's going to make this. This would be a heartbreaking way for Kvia to finish the season. And he's just pulling at wires in the car to see what is the issue. Can Kvia get that car going and get himself back to the start line in time to start this battle? He's hitting the dash, he's slapping things. Will it get the car moving? It's a random fault. He has no idea what it is.
No, and you can see the dash illuminating there and nothing. Oh, no, and he knows he's not going to be able to do it.
That is absolutely heartbreaking for Toruń and Kvia. And we're watching it happen right in front of our eyes. He's out of competition in the burnout box with an electrical failure, and I've got to say, that is just the worst way to leave the competition. And you know, I was just noticing Adam LZ wasn't pulling to the line. He was trying to stay in the burnout box to give Kvia more time, but the marshals forced LZ to go to the start line. So even the other driver he's against tried to give him more time. That's amazing sportsmanship.
It is, Dave, and the thing is they get a certain amount of time to warm the tyres on the car, and then they are forced to go to the start line. Adam LZ was holding back, and you know what, Adam LZ would really want to do battle with Kvia, because it's Toruń and Kvia. He's not a nobody, Dave. He's one of the best drivers from Norway.
Yeah, and look, you can see the tears welling up in Toruń and Kvia there, because this, in front of 50,000 people, I mean, he would have believed he could win this event, and the emotions are just rolling out of Toruń and Kvia, because that is not the way you want to exit the competition. And look, he's had such a massive push towards the end of the season of performance for Kvia. And look, he's probably looking around saying, this is as big a chance as I'm going to get, and unfortunately he bows out of competition. And it's not, again, this is the rule book. It's not like,
of course,
you know, we cannot just allow everything to happen, because then it would be chaos for the whole year, and everything is fair. And even though it's harsh, we got to go down to Becky. Becky, you're down trackside with Toruń and Kvia. We're almost in tears ourselves here in the tower. Heartbreaking stuff.
Tor, I'm so sorry. Can you tell us what's happened?
It seems like something electrical has gone bad. It seems like the main power supply. When I kept holding it, I could probably start the car, but I can't drive like that. So, yeah, it's... I felt so good today, and I felt so good in Hungary, and I was ready to take on this battle with Adam, who's had he's become so good, and I wanted to have a good battle, and yeah, that's it. Thank you, Poland.
Tor, you've been an incredible competitor this year. It's been so great to see you drive. Keep up the good spirit. I'm sure we'll see you on the podium again in 2025 at Drift Masters. Thank you, Tor.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Poland.
Well, not what we wanted to see.
Oh, man, absolute heartbreak.
Yeah.
And it's been one of those years for Kvia. You know, he took a year out of Drift Masters, he went away, won the Norwegian Championship. He said he felt better than ever, and he came back, and it has been one of those years for him as well. And another driver that's suffered mechanical issues, problems with the car, and you know, when you spend all that time and money, and you know, Tor has started his own business as well in Norway. He's put a lot of pressure on his own shoulders.
Absolutely. You think these guys are full-time professional drivers? This is just half of what they do.
This is their weekend job.
This is their weekend job, as opposed to, you know, he has a whole business back in Norway. You know, he's running that with his partner. He's such a nice guy. I mean, he's a great guy behind the scenes, and we've been a fan of Tor's for years. And LZ, he's shaking his head because he got a victory not the way he wanted it, right? So that's a big part of this whole thing, is that any other motorsport, you get an advantage, you take it. That's what you're taught. Win at all costs. But the fact that LZ would delay his return to the start line just so Kvia could get more time, and then was forced to go to the start line, shows that drifting is these are different breed, right? This is just this is about, I want to beat you. I don't want to win by default. So that's a big part of it.
Yeah, of course. I know every single driver wants to win fairly. They want to beat their opponent. They don't want to sit on the line and have to just initiate the first corner and get that win and advance through. It's the same as Kevin Piskolty. You know, he would want to battle every single driver and win it fairly. But as I say, sometimes you have to have that little bit of lady luck on your side, and when you can get it, you can get it. And Adam LZ, well, as much as he would want to have battled Toruń and Kvia, he will take finishing.
He'll also take his highest guaranteed result of the year. So he's into the top 8 guaranteed. All he's got to do is initiate into the first corner. He'll probably take advantage of this free practice run to get a little bit more practice. Everyone wants it. They said they got very little.
They've got a little bit of oil down. I'm not sure where that came from. I'm not sure if that was
Kvia?
Jack's car, maybe. No, that was down before we removed Toruń and Kvia's car off the circuit. So I think maybe Jack's car lost some fluid on track. So we're just going to get that cleaned up real quick. Johnny Sweeps, Dave, gets another quick spin on track.
Well, Johnny Sweeps has been busy this weekend. He's been flat out. Slowest vehicle around the circuit, but one of the most important because he's getting rid of all the debris. Used to be a two-man job if you're watching our top 32, but the other guy got fired because they've realised he just does nothing.
Dave grassed him up.
I did. I said there's no need for 2 people driving that. I feel we could be more efficient. So Adam LZ is just going to have to initiate the first corner and get himself into the top 8, and he'll be happy. Last year didn't qualify as a wild card in a car he wasn't familiar with. Said, you know what, I kind of want to bring my own car here. Built a car, and if you guys watch Adam LZ's content, built it in a very short amount of time. In a couple of weeks, built a a very, very interesting E36. It's very light, very powerful, almost 1,000 horsepower, and he's running this car and a very similar car in the USA. So technically, he has had some issues all year with the other one, so he's built 3 E36s almost in a year, but he'd be happy in Poland to get himself into the top 8. And I don't know, so he will take the opportunity just to do a quick run of the track, make sure the car is A-OK, put a wave on for the fans, and he's happy to go through, but not the way he's going through.
No, exactly that, Dave. So Adam Milsey, close to the wall there, nearly put himself in a little danger, but nevertheless, he's going to finish up this run. He will take a full pass of the circuit. Every single run these guys can get, they will get. Limited practice for these guys over the last 2 days. And Adam Milsey cross the line and secure the deal and remove the bootlet off the car.
Take the bootlet off the car.
Yeah, if you're going to do it, you might as well do it in style. And it holds on for a 360.
That cable tie is just like, I'm trying, I'm really trying. So that is, that's how you remove your bootlet and leave it with you. And also you can see a little bit of tire smoke starting to come up from the back of LZ's car. Now, that little delay is all playing into the next battle, which is the biggest battle of the year. Lauri Heinonen and Benediktas Čirba for the championship. And the conditions, well, I'm just going to say it, the track is a little drier than it's been for a while. So just playing into the drama here.
Stop it.
I'm just saying it's playing into the drama, Ian. I'm trying to be as real with everyone as I can. Adam LZ gets the confirmation that he will go through to the top 8. And Bootlet somehow is back on the car again. Marcin doing a job. Marcin doing a job there at the start line. We are full house here in Poland, 50,000 people in the stadium watching the best in the business, and this is the biggest battle of the night. Benediktas Čirba and Lauri Heinonen. Heinonen wins this, he is the 2024 Drift Masters champion. If he loses this battle, he's got to watch and see what happens to James Deane, but it's in his hands now. He wins it on his terms if he wins this battle, but he goes up against an on-form Lithuanian in Benediktas Čirba, who's been on rails from the off this round. This is tough. Heinonen said the car is not 100%. He's losing power every run. He said the engine's tired. He said only for the fact that the track is slippery, he can get around here. But this has got to be a championship drive. And Lauri Heinonen, he's not looking left, he's not looking right, he's looking at that first corner, and he's saying, I'm going for this. And he's got to beat Čirba here, to put it all on his own hands and be the 2024 champion. He was second last year in this event. He was second in the championship, and now he wants to be first. Now he wants to be the bride and not the bridesmaid, and he's got to get it done here. He's the higher qualifier, and he is in the lead position. Thumbs up from Marcin. Heinonen said it's just one more battle between now and glory, and here we go.
Well, this is it. This could be the one. Lauri Heinonen fires that car from left to right. Big handbrake drag, gets on the throttle nice and early, sets himself lovely into that first outside zone. Čirba hits the wall, has to correct, and now they get into it. Now they come through the middle of the circuit. A little bit of grip, a little bit more pace in these cars. Now the track is drying slightly, and look at that from Čirba onto the door. A big dive across the circuit from the Lithuanian. Big angle carried by Lauri Heinonen, and he goes over the outside zone, but there's no shaking Benediktas Čirba. He's right with him. He tags the rear wheel, shallows up the angle once again. Oh, and he's almost straight there, is Čirba, as Lauri Heinonen brings him across the line.
Oh. If you like your drifting tense, we got 2 scoops for you.
Nervous.
Well, I've got to break that one down. There was some errors, both sides.
Both sides.
From Heinonen and Čirba. On initiation, Heinonen, good job here, gets out to the wall. Čirba goes a little deep here, boof, into the wall. That's lost the taillight, and it made him straighten a little bit on the front wheels. So right now, Heinonen looking really strong as he comes through the center section of the course. But Čirba starts to reel him in as they come through the inner zone and transition back towards the wall. Now Heinonen hits the wall with a little bump here, and then this is the biggest mistake from Heinonen as he overwashes this corner. He gets too far out, he goes over the zone, hits this puddle, and loses grip, goes just about over the edge of the track as then Čirba dives in. But this is where Čirba makes the even bigger mistake, catches some grip just around about here and straightens up, has to reinitiate and has a wobble and gets back up on the door. So maybe an advantage to Heinonen. Maybe. He's one hand on the trophy. Maybe. But this is all it comes down to. One chase run between Lauri Heinonen and the championship. One chase run between Lauri from the underdog 3 years ago to now the man to beat. Can he seal the deal and take the championship? Čirba goes for the big dive in, and Heinonen fires in on the door, and Heinen's there. Heinonen needs to force the issue here. If he wants to be the 24 champion, he's got to take it from Čirba. He can't expect it at the way. No, and Lauri Heinonen almost goes in the wall. He avoids it. That was the moment. He got around it, and Lauri Heinonen stays in the mix and on Čirba's door. Heinenen's got to be careful here. His boat drivers flex the wall with the rear end of the car. They transition back. Heinenen's 2 corners from the championship, and he takes the risk, the champion's risk, the risk that no one else would take. Heinenen's taken it, and he may just have taken the championship.
That was phenomenal. That was an insane chase, and his car has just died across the line.
Heinenen's car has died. Heinenen's car has died across the finish line. It cut off on the finish line.
Appeared from the back of Heinenen's car, and I think the engine has just failed as he finished the run.
Wow.
Look at that,
Heinenen's
steam.
car has failed. The engine has failed in Heinenen's car across the finish line. We may have a fire here. I'm not sure what's happening.
I think that's what he said to Becky earlier on in an interview that there was water in the cylinders, which would suggest a head gasket has gone.
I mean, the tension here in Drift Masters is just unmatched anywhere in the world. The car lets go across the finish line, but has he done enough
well, let's
to
take
win
a look
the championship?
back at the replay, Dave. Look at this, and I think the biggest part of this, the whole biggest part of this whole battle, was the moment when Benediktas Čirba hit the wall. Watch this, on this transition, they go for it. Čirba leads them in a little bit too deep. Boom, Čirba hits the wall and hits the wheel. Heinonen avoids it unbelievably. How, I don't even know. But Čirba makes a big mistake. Look at that, bam, almost takes our camera, moves the wall ever so slightly, and that is a big task because those walls are over a ton in weight each.
For me, I'll tell you, it's the last transition from Heinonen. He didn't need to take a risk that big, but he forced the issue.
But why wouldn't he?
For it. Because he could throw it all away.
Because he's a championship drive. He needed to stamp the approval, Dave.
Well, I want to watch this transition from Heinonen at the end, because I think, as far as I was thinking, you know, it's a risk to take, but what a time to do it. And if Heinenen's car has failed coming across the finish line, how much was it dying during that run? Look at this transition from Heinonen. He takes the big risk, fires through. Look at that.
Wow.
Absolutely outrageous from Lauri Heinonen. And he's been doing it all year, Ian, and that's why he's been earning this title shot. That's why he's been earning this championship, because he's been going to places that other drivers aren't willing to go and taking those risks. And just here, watch across the line, watch Heinenen's engine bay. Boom, engine just smoke everywhere. Oh, I don't know if I've got the heart for any more of this sport, because it's just ridiculous. We've got a decision, and that decision is for the 2024 championship. Has he done it? Will he be the first Finnish champion? He will be! Lauri Heinonen is your 2024 champion.
And you can see it. It finally erupts out of him, Dave. A man that is stone cold, a man that never shows emotion. It finally erupts from him after 2 hard years of work. Lauri Heinonen becomes the 2024 Drift Masters champion.
And absolutely 100%, no one can argue that he earned it. He did it all the way through. More wins than anybody else, more moments than anybody else, and more fighting back than anyone else. Lauri Heinonen has lived the dream tonight in front of 50,000 people, and there's Finnish fans in the crowd in tears. They backed him all the way through. And he goes to James Deane, sorry buddy, you've won enough of them. This time it's my turn. And James Deane says, enjoy it.
Yeah.
I'm still going to beat you later on, but enjoy it. And Lauri, look at this, the emotion that never showed all year. Now the emotion can flow through. He has it. And he can be relaxed because he is the 24th champion. And I don't think anyone who's watched drifting this year and watch him rise from absolutely nothing in 3 or 4 years to be the man of the moment. I've got Becky, you're on trackside and you're talking to our 2024 Drift Masters champion.
Lauri, how long have you waited to hear these words? You are the 2024 Drift Masters champion. Congratulations. We are delighted for you. Can you tell me what's going through your mind right now?
I don't know, I think the engine went out, and yeah, it's just everything is going over my head.
As you were driving, could you feel the engine starting to die on you?
Yeah, it was practically dead on the start line of the second run. It was running bad, and I just had to push it.
But she got you through, she's got you to this point, she got you through that top 16 battle that you needed. We're absolutely delighted. I mean, you're obviously moving on to the top 8 now. What does this mean?
We don't know, we have to open the hood and look some things. I don't know if we can continue, we'll see.
This season has been incredible for you, obviously taking 2 first places, and now it all came down to this last round. Were you feeling the pressure?
Yeah, I definitely was feeling the pressure, but not as
it doesn't affect me as much. I just did what I would have done any other situation. But to make this count on my own hands, like not looking from the grandstands, it feels much better.
Is there anything you would like to say to your Finnish fans right now?
Joo, kiitos kaikille kun olette täällä. Illalla juhlitaan.
Kiitos, Lauri, congratulations.
Unbelievable. I mean, we were just saying while the interview was going on, if you told me that Lauri Heinonen would win the championship and across the finish line his engine would give up, we talked. He said to me, one more battle. The car went.
One more battle.
You're damn right, one more battle. That's all I've got.
Please, guys.
Look at these guys. They are ready to build a monument to Lauri Heinonen somewhere in Finland now when they go home.
There'll be a statue.
There'll be a statue
in
of Lauri Heinonen. They'll frame his engine and put it in a museum in Finland saying it just did enough and no more. So he's done it. 2024 champion, Lauri Heinonen. We can take a breather now and say, who's going to win the event?
Well,
that's what we got to decide. And look at this. The car that wins the championship can't even leave. Can't even leave under its own strength.
It's had enough, Dave.
The car is like, are you for real?
We can't do no more.
Yeah. The car can do no more. And you know what? He's still smiling.
He is.
The champion pushes his own car out of the stadium. Can you even write this championship anymore? You can't.
You can't, Dave.
I think if I wrote the script for this, people would say, that's a bit far-fetched.
Yeah.
Wind it back a bit. Unbelievable. And you know what? For coming second last year in this stadium, he was smiling through gritted teeth. He really wanted to win. Second in the championship, second on the podium. Tonight, he is your champion. And a deserved champion as we head now to the man that can't be champion but can secure his second place in the championship. And you know what he said? Don't even care about the championship, want to win the event.
Yeah.
And it's James Deane. Tell you who he was arguing with though, the man that's just podiumed 2 events in a row, Paweł Korpuliński. Korpuliński hasn't put a foot wrong in the last 2 events. And here he is again, now looking like a very strong competitor. He goes up against James Deane, and James said himself, he wants to win this event. He said, I've wanted to win events in my life. He said, I've won some amazing events, but this one, this is the one I want to win. He said, I watched it on from across the water last year, and I said, I'm not missing that one next year. I'm winning that. Well, Paweł Korpuliński says, that's a nice idea, but I'm going to beat you. And I want everyone to say, I'm going to beat James Deane, win the event in front of my home fans, and that's the way it's going to go. Well, we're about to find out as James Deane will be your higher qualifier. He will lead Ireland versus Poland for another spot in the top 8. Here we go.
Yeah, and here we go. James Deane wild already. Big flick across. He says, well, if I can't win the championship, let's have some fun and let's make this one an exciting one. Look at the line from Deane, absolutely glued to the wall here. He is, but there's no shaking. Paweł Korpuliński, the Polishman, will want this one as well. He won't want to go down without a fight in front of his Polish fans. Oh, nice little dive from Korpuliński as he tucks himself up into the rear quarter of James Deane's S15. They fire through the outside zone. Korpuliński can't be shaken right now as Deane absolutely fires it across the circuit. Big angle from both guys, but Korpuliński deals with it, shallows up in that outside zone, and now starts to make the hunt once again as Deane flicks the back end to the wall. Korpuliński's on the wheel.
They're making this look very easy.
Too easy.
And it's not easy.
No, we need to put like a jump or something in.
Like, every driver out there is saying, oh, we don't know where the grip is, it's so difficult, oh, it's such a tricky track, and then they make it look like this.
Easy.
They make it look easy because this is how good they are. Deane's lead, perfect. Korpuliński's there with him the whole way through the run. Nothing too crazy or aggressive or majorly on the door and no major angle, but he's there everywhere. But Deane gives him so much to work with.
He does. He gives him that perfect lead line that we expect to see from James Deane. And a little touch of the wall here and there from James Deane. Maybe one small mistake in a run that was pretty much almost flawless. Paweł Korpuliński dealt with it though, and there was no shaking that Polish driver because he was there the whole ride.
You know what? I'm so proud to watch these guys because we've watched some sketchy runs year after year. Tonight, on the grandest stage of them all, we're seeing them all at their best.
Yeah.
And they're coming through tired cars, broken parts, 6 rounds in, everything's falling apart on the car. Every one of them says, I'm reshelling because there's nothing left of it. Their 20-20 rule, 20 feet at 20 mile an hour, they're looking good, but everything up close. Deane's car is just stapled together. It looks perfect from here, but I can guarantee you when you get up close, these cars have been through the wars, and now we go at it again. Deane wants to win the event. He's got to go through an on-form Korpuliński, and he's got to be on the door.
He certainly has got to be on the door. Will Korpuliński give him that opportunity? Will he give him that perfect steady lead line? Well, he's already opened it up for him and said to James Deane, come on then, give me that proximity, give me that chase that I just give you. Oh, and a little flex of the front bumper from Korpuliński. Absolutely beautiful into that inside zone. Now into this outside zone. Deane now starts to repay the favour. Little tuck up onto the door, a little nudge onto the front wheel to let Korpuliński know he's there. He goes very wide, Korpuliński. Has to make a correction on the steering, but he's in there, he's in that zone, and Deane deals with it. And now as Deane starts to repay the favour, they go wheel to wheel, bootlids flying up on the wall.
Oh, guy can't even listen to it. He's just said, he's just in the zone.
Yeah.
So James Deane hitting the wall, Korpuliński hitting the wall, but again, another 2 great runs. And I've got to say, nothing left to chance. Both drivers did absolutely everything they could to win that one, and it's very close. Deane, to me, matching the angle a little bit more in the chase position, maybe a little bit more aggressive in certain areas, but he's got to say, another great lead run for Paweł Korpuliński.
It is, again, Korpuliński just found this form really this season and been super consistent. A very good lead driver and a very good chase driver. And you kind of count on Korpuliński now to deliver every single event, that he's going to be very flawless and very consistent. And, you know, that trademark, though, has made him easy to chase.
Look how close James Deane is on that transition there. It's just this one here for me. Look, like, come on. How do you even do that?
I don't know.
That's ridiculous.
I have no idea, Dave.
But how do you do it and make it look like, I planned that. I knew that.
I knew that was going to happen.
I'm just an inch away. Classic me. Like, none of that makes sense to me. How you can do it so well. Korpuliński's like, this bootlet, I want a new one, so I've got to get an excuse, get rid of that last corner. Well, that man reckons he'll never beat the Irish. Let's see if he's right or wrong. Will it be Korpuliński? Will it be Deane going through? James Deane gets the win, and he goes through to the top 8. And Kevin, quickly back to you. You know what? Nothing really wrong from Korpuliński from where I'm sitting, but just that extra bit of spice from James Deane.
Yeah, absolutely. Both drivers driving very similarly, but James just having that little bit extra, just enough to take the battle. Realistically, what it comes down to for all of us here is the difference in angle. Korpuliński definitely shallowing up angle on his lead and his chase. So overall, that was kind of the defining factor for all of us here.
Well, there you have it. James Deane moving on to the top 8. And we're getting there. We're nearly there. We're at the last battle in our top 16, and it will be Oliver Randalu and Orjan Nilsen. I had a good chat with both of these guys just before the top 16, and they said they're just enjoying the moment. And I think this is one of those battles where they both know the talent that they're up against. They both know the form that they're up against. And right now, Orjan Nilsen, he's carrying a little bit of, I would say, momentum in here. Top 10 in the championship. Oliver Randalu trying to jump up a few places in the order. Well, let's see what happens as Orjan Nilsen will be the lead driver. Toyota Soarer owners around the world saying, we still got it. We're still in the mix. We're still in the mix. A car designed to be a big, heavy luxury car is now smashed into walls in a stadium. So this was never intended by Lexus in the first place, or Toyota. And then we've got Oliver Randalu in what looks like an old BMW, but it's actually a brand new build. So these guys have been really pushing all year. The fans are loving this one. Look at these. Look at the fashion. Fashion up there.
Fashion.
You can only get away with that here. Here we go. Orjan Nilsen in the lead. Oliver Randalu in the chase position. Pulling through the gears quickly as big initiation coming in from Orjan Nilsen. Randalu fires in up onto the door. And here we go. Randalu into the pocket, right up onto the doors. Orjan Nilsen goes to the walls. Inner zone hit by both drivers. And this is the sketchy part. Nilsen gets it right. Randalu gets it right and just about avoids the transition. Where's the aggression coming from here from Randalu? He is absolutely bumping Nilsen around the course now as Nilsen goes wide to the walls. This is where they need to collect that inner zone, and they do perfectly. Again, the driving level has just stepped up tenfold in this top 16 as Randalu now starts to force the issue into that last corner. Look at Nilsen on the wall and Randalu on the door. No mistakes from either driver, and everyone looking cool as a cucumber out there.
Unbelievable. That chase from Oliver Randalu, that's one of the best chases I've seen him do all year, Dave. That was flawless. It was absolutely full of aggression. He wasn't messing around. Every single step of the way, he was with Nilsen, but Nilsen gave him that opportunity with that really nice lead line. Look at Nilsen. Watch on these transitions, Dave. Bumper to bumper. And again, boom, gets it done.
I love the little flex of the bumper.
Randalu, and then here for me, I thought that this was Randalu's mistake, but that little contact, but it looked like Nilsen was going a little heavy in the wall, and I wondered if he lifted off the throttle ever so slightly, and Randalu just made contact with him. And for me, again, Randalu didn't really need to go brave here, but he did, and he made the big dive, and he was working that car into the groove.
I was seeing it, live, and there was the first thought that came into my head. I was like, where's this aggression coming from? Oliver Randalu just said, screw it, I'm just going for it now.
Just going to go for it, yeah.
He knows Nilsen's a great driver. He knows it's a great lead run coming, so he had all of that confidence, and that's another big compliment to the driver you're against, to saying, well, I went that hard because I knew you'd hold it. I knew he'd keep it going. So we switch him around, and Orjan Nilsen's got to bring the fight here, got to bring the aggression the same way around. Randalu just got to keep it tidy in that lead position. But I think the pressure now on Orjan Nilsen to go as close as possible. And he's got a long old bonnet there to see where the end of it is if he wants to get as close. I think we're going to see some bumper flex in here. This is going to be a wild one. Let's go. Spot in the top 8, the last spot in the top 8 up for grabs. Estonia versus Norway. Randalu leading them in.
Yeah, Randalu goes for that wide flick, and look at this. Already, Nilsen goes for it, looks for the side of that BMW, but he's not as close as what Randalu was on that initiation. Now starts to rein in the Estonian driver as, Oliver Randalu just takes the paint off the wall. That was beautiful. Oliver Randalu into that zone, and now up and gone. And there's no aggression from Orjan Nilsen at the moment. He's just a passenger in this fight. What can he do as they transition back? They look for that second to last outside zone. Randalu stalls up, checks up a little bit, but now gets into it. The Estonian driver's on an absolute ripper. Now Oliver Randalu gets it across the line, and Nilsen finds the door.
We're going to need heart medication by the end of this. I'll tell you what, it's got to be said, this championship right now, from top to bottom, the level and standard we have is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like, every driver is capable of pulling off something incredible, and we've got 50 of them at every round able to do it, and this is another textbook run. To me, I've got to say, Orjan was really good. I mean, I'm wondering how the judges look at the bumper flex, because this was a bit more precise from Nilsen, not taking as many risks. But when Randalu goes in the wall there, we saw it happen earlier with Čirba. How much do you think they're going to weigh on that?
I don't think they're going to weigh on it.
You don't
because
think
it wasn't a hit. It rubbed the wall.
He scuffed.
He scuffed
the wheel.
That
powder coated the wheel.
It's just there was a bit of contact there into that zone, but for me, Randalu, just the aggression.
Hey, he's on one. Absolutely on one. And then Nilsen's like, will you come back here for a minute? And we'll have a conversation, because you keep going so fast through the course. Nilsen does well, I think, here. You see bits flying off the cars as they transition.
Nilsen does well, but he doesn't really bring the fight until the last outside zone.
Yeah, here he really settles in here. This is, it's really good. But Randalu's tipping a few walls. I've got to say, though, now that I look back on it, I think Randalu brought much more aggression in the chase.
I think you're right. I think he did. I think
you're right.
For me, Randalu really over the 2 runs was...
And you know what? Usually, I would be thinking Orjan Nilsen would be bringing all that aggression, but
I think we've just seen a very on form.
Like this.
Yeah.
As the pop song goes. Let's see. Orjan Nilsen, Oliver Randalu, last spot in the top 8. Who's going there? Estonia or Norway? It's Estonia. It's Oliver Randalu gets the win and goes through to the top 8. And that's a long time coming for Oliver Randalu from Estonia. It's a long time knocking on the door of the top 16. And you know what? If I told him, what event would you like to go top 8? Well, he'd say this one, and he's going to be over the moon with that.
Oh, he certainly is, Dave. He jumps back into the car and he's like, well, there's another one under the belt. We just keep going. Before we know it, we could be in the final 4.
I'm going to have a chat with Kev here. Kev, a lot of aggression from Oliver Randalu there. And usually a driver that doesn't show that, but he pulled it off expertly there.
He really did. Excellent chase run by Oliver Randalu, but realistically, Orjan Nilsen had a very good chase as well. For us, it came down to the lead runs. Randalu having a very, very good clean lead line, and Orjan Nilsen definitely not having as clinical of a lead line, missing some zones and not being as consistent as Randalu. So over the lead and the chase, realistically, Randalu gets it.
There you have it. I'm just looking forward, and we were just discussing that. We wonder if Lauri Heinonen is going to make it back out with that engine failure, which would also give Adam LZ a quick stop to the top 4.
They're going to do anything to get that car back out.
I think they'll probably put
another engine in
Tesla
There's probably half of the
they'll probably put a phone battery in there to get it going. But Duane, McKeever and Kevin Piskolty will be the first battle of our top 8. They're warming up on track right now. Not that there's much tyre warming to be done here this weekend, but look at this packed house to the rafters. Oh, did you ever think you'd see the day? Well, do you know what? We've had such a good time in 32. We've had an amazing time in top 16, but I'm not messing around, because we need to head to the top 8. Welcome back to the PGE Narodowy, the largest stadium in Poland, here in the center of Warsaw and the center of attention for the entire drift world this weekend. As we started with 51 drivers, we are now down to the top 8. And here we have the 2 first contenders. Duane McKeever, who has secured 3rd in the 2024 Drift Masters Championship. He goes head-to-head with Kevin Piskolty from Hungary. and a top 4 semi-final place up for grabs at the biggest event in world drifting. Yes, it means that much. Yes, the stakes are that high, and yes, the drivers know this. So we are going to see some battles from this point on that are do or die. McKeever's been on rails. He's been unbeatable this weekend. Top qualifier, wins the showdown, and he's won his 32 and 16 battles. But Piskolty, well, he hasn't done a chase run yet because everybody keeps falling apart beside him. Will McKeever have the same fate, or will we see Piskolty pushed for the first time this weekend? And I think Kevin Piskolty is ready for a fight. He wants to go out there and prove his worth tonight. And McKeever and Piskolty both know the level, the standard, and the ability and the ambition of both of these opponents. This is for all the marbles and 2 shots at the podium. And this is in front of the biggest crowd in world drifting. Marcin, our Starline Marshal, gives the word. We're ready to kick off our top 8, and McKeever will kick it off as he always does with a big old flick into that first corner.
Yeah, and here we go through the gears, no messing around, but look at this from Piskolty, straight onto the back bumper, down the inside he goes, and he matches the angle, but he carries a little bit too much. Now loses some ground to Duane McKeever as they come through that inside zone. They flick it back, and he's a little bit too shy, and he hits the wall as Kevin Piskolty makes big contact with the wall. He's going to try and reinitiate and get himself back into the fight. I think there could be damage on the car as Duane McKeever carries on his run, continues to lead them around the circuit. Piskolty gets himself back into it. How he survived that one, I don't even know. They go for the wall, they look for that final outside zone, and onto the wall goes Duane McKeever and across the line.
Oh, you don't want to see it.
No.
Not fall apart so early in the battle, and I'm sure Piskolty's car has taken a bit of a rattle there. Oh, he just got it all wrong in.
Yeah, he just took too much of a bite out of it, Dave. Watch this from initiation.
Oh, that was brave. That was
on the
brave from Piskolty there. But he had to back off. And I think he's going to have a big... We're going to see this from the other angle now. Watch Piskolty's car as he tries. He's in the wrong place altogether. Oh! That front wheel has got to have taken a big impact there, or the alignment or something. But he's gone back to the start line, so they're checking it out. But look at this. The camera's going to see a lot of Piskolty here. Oh,
and he moved the wall again.
Yeah,
another driver
touched
just
the wall.
touched the wall. A bit of carbon Kevlar down there.
We'll watch that one more time. Just have a look at the other side of Piskolty's car. Look at the hit. This is a tough hit. Boom. Oh. And I'm just going to say, he got back into this.
Yeah.
Like he
clutch kicks it straight away.
Clutch kicks it straight away. So we're back on the, I don't know, has Piskolty's car been checked over? It looks like it has. And it looks like he's okay. Well, he said the alignment's off, but he's going to give it a go anyway. So here we are. Bravery or stupidity, you never know.
You never know.
You never know. But with 50,000 people looking down, you go, oh, we can fix it in the off-season. We'll give it a go. So Piskolty's going to lead in McKeever. We don't know what condition Piskolty's car is, but he's going for it anyway.
Yeah, he's going to go for a big one here, and he flicks it in across the circuit now. Will McKeever play it safe? Will he keep it clean? Will he just give him a good chase but not do too much? And I think that's what Duane McKeever's going to go for as they fire through. Kevin Piskolty goes close to the wall once again. Now McKeever starts to make a dive. He doesn't want to get left standing. He doesn't want Piskolty to run away with this one too much, although he has a massive advantage already. And McKeever goes for the rear wheel. You could see Piskolty's car not 110% as he flicks through, looks for this outside zone. Duane McKeever gives him some room to manoeuvre once again. They get into the wall. A little bop on the brakes there for McKeever. He doesn't want to hit him too hard. Stamps his approval across the line, and both guys get a job done.
Oh, I'll tell you what, Duane McKeever almost too much across the finish line, but I don't think Piskolty's car was 100% there. And I'll also say that it's got to be a brave move for Piskolty to do a lap like that in this arena with a car that definitely isn't 100%. And McKeever definitely backs off from the off here. He says, I'm not going to take it. He didn't know what Piskolty would do on the first corner. I'll tell you what he did. He did okay. Pretty good lead run from Kevin Piskolty. But he was struggling. You could see on some of the transitions, Piskolty was really fighting the car.
Yeah, he certainly was, and it can't have been easy.
And he goes back
still
on the
goes
wall
back on the wall again, yeah.
Where he crashed the first time, which was even funnier because I was like, he'll definitely stay. No, he's going back there again.
Back there
right
again.
back there again.
Look at this from McKeever.
So let's see what happens.
These onboards are just unbelievable, especially
just
when
check
they're
this
door
last
to door.
corner and let's see what happened here, because McKeever definitely has a check up here. So Piskolty goes to the wall, right to the edge of the track, and he's hitting the wall. He's kind of slow there. McKeever taking risks here, probably risks he doesn't need to take. Yeah, look, Piskolty hits the wall, McKeever gets stalled up. So I didn't see Piskolty hit the wall the first time around. So I was wondering, was Duane McKeever just losing it for himself there? But let's see which way the judges go. And it's the obvious decision. Going through to the top 4 is Duane McKeever getting the win, going through to the top 4, and that big collision with the wall from Kevin Piskolty on the first run. Too much to overcome. And yeah, that's what happens when you play with fire. You get burned.
Yeah, you get burned. Yeah.
And Piskolty, unfortunately, big smash with the wall. And he goes out in the top 8.
Not a bad finish, though, for a man who's been
No, not
slowly
at all.
progressing throughout the years, Dave, and he's now finding the form here at Drift Masters. We go back to the start line, though, to a battle that Peter Wojciech probably thought, well, I've got rid of one Shanahan, and now we've got another one to deal with.
2 Shanahans Peter Więcek will need to get rid of to get himself into the top 4. And, you know, as the hunters would say, it's Shanahan season. He's out there taking names. So Peter Więcek takes down Jack Shanahan. Can he also take down Conor Shanahan, who many would say has stepped last year into Peter Więcek's championship role? You know, so these 2 guys, both ex-champions. Peter with 3 championships of Drift Masters and Conor with 1. So when you look at it that way, these are 2 of the highest ranked drivers on the grid. However, not had the perfect season. Peter Więcek has yet to put that Supra on the podium, and that's what he wants to do here in front of his own home fans. That would be the only way he could look at this season as a success, to finish on top after all the development in that car and all the figuring out. Conor Shanahan, well, he's had ups and downs throughout the year also. But if he won this event, he said, I'll take that as a consolation prize and probably 4th in the championship. So let's see what happens as they come off the line. If you guys are watching Drift Masters for the last couple of years, you'll know what this battle means. You got the best of the best going against the best of the best. And let's see what happens. Więcek's taking down one Shanahan tonight. Can he take down another?
Well, he's going to try to, Dave, that's for sure. And I'm not sure that Conor's going to let him get away with it too easy. Look at the initiation from both of them, and absolutely beautiful from Shanahan as he mirrors the initiation and mirrors the angle. But now Wojciech starts to pull away. The Polishman wants it in front of his home crowd. They flick through. Shanahan goes for a brave dive, tags Wojciech, puts him offline, and fighting is unbelievable. Oh, he tags him again. This is a scuffle on circuit right now as they fire through the middle of the track. Conor Shanahan goes for the wheel once again. He's on the back end. He's bullying Peter Wojciech around the circuit as they go into this last outside zone. Shanahan on the inside as he goes for the front wheel.
Oh. Like that, to me, we like a little bit of rubbing. We like a little bit of caressing the door.
That was a fist fight.
But there was some punches thrown there. That wasn't, you know, that wasn't a scuffle. That was a punch. So I think this is a brave dive in from Conor Shanahan. And again, Więcek goes to the wall, bounces a little bit harder than he wants to, and they both settle into this one. But it looks like Więcek's got the pace here, and I think Shanahan immediately notices he's got the pace. And as they transition through, this is the first mistake. Shanahan fires through, and then boom, hits Więcek into the wall. But somehow, I don't know how, they both just stay drifting. How do they keep doing this, Ian, when they keep getting, they're crashing and drifting?
I don't know.
And then you can see Conor Shanahan getting closer and closer to Peter Więcek as they come out here. And then as you can see, Conor comes through here. Oh, nearly takes the back end off that Supra, comes through again. Conor Shanahan gets a little bit of a wobble there. And then when he dives through again, there's another bump here. And then there's another bump just right at the finish line. It looks to me like Conor Shanahan's on and off grip a lot there. Looks like that car has a lot of grip dialed in, and it makes it a little unsmooth.
Yeah.
So who knows? Judges could look at Więcek's lead run as well. There's a couple of wobbles in there as well. So I don't know. Let's see. Peter Więcek got the best chaser run of the entire event for me against Jack Shanahan. Can he replicate it against Conor Shanahan? Second half of this battle, top 4 space up for grabs. Poland versus Ireland, ex-champion versus ex-champion. Więcek chase it in Shanahan.
Yeah, look at this, goes for the inside. He's not going to make contact though. Oh, and he shallows up the angle, and Conor waits to get on the throttle. Now they start to get into it. Now Wojciech finds the side of that GT86. They fire through, and it's nice and close to the wall. Look at Wojciech like a cat with a mouse, playing with Conor Shanahan at the moment. Gives him that room to manoeuvre. Now makes a dive in outside zone 4. Now starts to apply the pressure, pushing Shanahan round. They look for this little touch and go in the middle of the circuit. They flick it back. Oh, look at Wojciech. Makes a small error though. Goes for the big angle. It doesn't pay off. He has to get himself back into it once again. As Wojciech goes for it this time now. Looks for the front wheel. Onto the door he goes across the line.
Oh, I gotta say, oh, there's arguments here, both ways. There's arguments. I think there's going to be arguments. What do you think, Ian?
I think I know.
You think you know?
I think I know what I think.
I think I know what I think.
Yeah.
You heard it here first from Ian Waddington. That's why he's in the booth.
Yeah, my brain has melted and gone. This is...
We've watched a lot of drifting, but I'll tell you what, it's such a pleasure to watch these guys go head-to-head. I know you guys
There's a little bit of aggression there between the two. Yeah. The little look across.
I thought they were going to punch each other after the run. Would have made no difference from the runs. So we know which one the Polish fans want to win. Let's have a look at this one, Ian. Talk us through your think what you think.
I think what I think, Dave, is I think that Wojciech knew the judges were leaning his way.
Okay.
Because the contact that Conor was making was aggressive, but not in the right way, because he didn't have great proximity.
So you think he backed off a little?
I think Peter backed off a little. because I think Peter didn't want to do the same thing Conor did.
Overdrive
The car, and he made the contact, but it wasn't clean proximity contact. It was more taking a punch to the face every now and then for no reason. It was like a bar brawl for no reason whatsoever. It's like, you looked at my wife, boom, take that one.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thinking of the judges.
I think, yeah. Do
you see where I'm at?
I think Więcek mistimes his transition.
I think there was one mistake,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. That transition, going into the second to last.
And I'm only
outside
playing
zone.
devil's advocate because I do agree.
I think Więcek played it cleverly.
So you got over-aggression from Shanahan.
Yeah.
And you got controlled aggression from Więcek. So you got to look at the two lead runs. I think Conor Shanahan is the better lead run of the two, but definitely Więcek has the more controlled
But
chase.
did he have a scrappy lead because he was getting battered around
We're about
the track?
to find out. I think there's arguments for both sides, but
Peter
it
doesn't look
matter
happy, and I wouldn't be if someone crashed into my Super either.
Exactly. So both of these guys look very nervous. And Peter Więcek, well, I think he needs this victory. He wants this victory. This is huge for him. But Conor Shanahan also wants to finish the season on a high. So this means a lot to both drivers right now.
Well, there's no decision.
Yeah, no decision
Do you know
just
what?
yet. We're looking
I
at
looked over
replays.
the judges and they're still looking at replays.
Oh, there's wobbles on both sides. I'm looking at where they're analysing this, and it's going to be a decision of a one more time. A one more time and a split decision towards Więcek. So it's a one more time by majority rule for Więcek and Shanahan. And Kevin O'Connell can't make up your mind who's going through, so you decide to give it one more time. What happened?
What happened is I'm getting stressed here, Dave.
I can imagine.
Yeah, this was a tough call to make. Okay, for us to break it down, realistically, we think that Conor had a slightly better lead line, Peter had a slightly better chase line. Both drivers making an abundance of mistakes over the two runs, and we have to see it go one more time. The only differentiating factor in that is that David saw that the contact from Conor coming into outer zone 4 was significant enough to give Peter the win overall, but myself and Matty thought it was splitting hairs realistically, and we have to see it go one more time.
So yeah, just to remind you guys, we got an Irish, a Polish, and a Czech Republic judge up here. And one more time, the overall call. And here is another interesting story that's just developed and been in my ear, Ian.
Yeah.
Lauri Heinonen out of competition. So we're going to go down to Becky. Becky, he's not continuing. Was it the worst? Was it what we feared? The engine let go?
Thankfully, Dave, the engine hasn't let go, but we are down here with Lauri right now. And let me tell you, the weather is absolutely biblical. So thank goodness we had that roof closed and those wet conditions inside the track. But Lauri, it's not looking terminal, but it's not good as we see you not pulling to the line with Adam LZ right now.
Yeah, I would say it's terminal because the oil temps went like 280 Fahrenheit and there was oil coming out of the engine. So yeah, maybe a hole somewhere, we don't know.
Maybe a little bit worse than we thought then.
Yeah, about judging from the knocking, it's bad. Yeah.
Okay, well, obviously, you know, you would have loved to have pulled to the line. I just asked you right then, has this all sunk in for you right now? But you're saying to me, I'm still in battle mode. I could go again right now.
Yeah, it was only the car that let us down. So yeah, I'm ready to go. But yeah, this is just enough.
Has it sunk in yet? I mean, I know it's a big one to take in, but you know, how are you feeling right now?
Feeling really, really, really great. I'm waiting to meet the audience and the fans and just stand on the podium and let it all sink in.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, Lauri, and we'll see you very soon.
Well, Lauri Heinonen, it's official. He's not allowed to run around the track. He does need a car.
He might be the champ, but
he might be the champ, but come on, you need a car.
There's rules.
In a strange turn of events, Adam LZ will be on the start line, and Adam LZ will automatically go top 4 at the final round of Drift Masters. So, not the way he would have wanted it, but it just seems he's like Moses. The sea is just parting in front of Adam LZ today, and he's going all the way to the top 4 semi-finals with 2 shots at the podium. Wow. 2 shots. And you know what? He's had a lot of bad luck this year, Adam LZ. Tire fires and a wheel coming off the car and everything. So to finish the season, his first season in Drift Masters, the only American to ever make the top 4 in the championship is about to happen. History in the making here in the PGE Narodowy as a US driver makes it to the semi-finals of Drift Masters.
Yeah, and all he had to do was initiate and complete his first outside zones, and he's done that, but he will take a full pass of the circuit because he'll want to get some more laps under his belt, Dave. You know, it's only been limited seat time here at the PGE Narodowy because of building that circuit in 2 days. And just think, this time tomorrow, Dave, none of this will be here.
Nope.
Bill gone.
But probably we'll still be here having a few celebratory alcohol beverages, but everything else will be.
I might be in bed. I don't have a brain anymore. My
There's going
brain
to be a
is...
lot of I'm going far in the Finnish fans. That's where I'm going.
No way.
Me and you, Ian, are going to jump into the middle of all the Finnish fans, and we'll just see where the night takes us.
They have
That's
drinks that are dangerous. You could run a car on a drink that they have.
I think Lauri Heinenen's car runs on some of their concoctions. Yeah, but and that's why it blew up.
I see you in Finland drinking their drinks, and I was like, this guy's crazy.
I know, but you got to, they bring
I didn't
such
see
energy.
you for 4 days after.
No, and I had a great time.
You flew home without a plane.
Yeah, I was fluent in Finnish 3 days later. It was fantastic.
And there we go, we make it official. Adam LZ does take the win and advances through to his first ever Final Four.
Yep.
And as Dave says, the first American in the Final Four.
The first American in the top 8 and the top 4. But we just made a point of it because will we see more US drivers come over to try and take it to the semi-final in 2025? I'm putting it out there.
You're watching right now.
The challenge is out there.
The challenge is out there for fancy.
If you go from anywhere in the world, show me your credentials, come here and see if you can hang with the best.
Send the Drift Masters office an email and get yourself in the show. You could be here next year competing at the PGE Narodowy.
You could be out here in front of 50,000 people. And right now, we've got 2 more drivers who want to get to that semi-final. Look at this guy, Marcin. Cool as a cucumber on the star line. You know what? He's the real hero.
All of our track staff are the real heroes, Dave, from out every round.
You might look at those cars going around. Imagine how much work it is to keep this chaos machine on track, on time, and moving this fast. Well, that track team, everyone behind the scenes at Drift Masters doing an amazing job right throughout the season. Got to say it before we head into this battle before James Deane and Oliver Randalu. Big shout out to the whole Drift Masters team on the ground, making it all work. Because you know what, they never miss a step.
Well, it's a big circus. There's a lot of staff here at Drift Masters from production.
And there's 2 clowns up here talking about it from the circus. I'll tell you that for a fact.
2 clowns. We are the front and centre of the clown show.
Yeah, we're like the 2 guys in the Muppet Show up in the balcony.
Throwing
right
pies at each other.
Exactly. James Deane's all smiles. Doesn't have to worry about the championship now. He just has to worry about winning yet another event. But Oliver Randalu says, do you know what, James?
I'd quite fancy
taking you out winning this myself. And Oliver Randalu says, I'm going to absolutely send it in there in the first corner. Here we go. Estonia chasing in Ireland into that spot in the semi-final for grabs, and Oliver Randalu's right there on the back of James Deane as they come into that first corner. Deane's got a lot of grip in that car. He's got a lot of pace, but Randalu matches it.
Yeah, he does match it. And look at this. Randalu shallows up the angle to try and keep it. Oh, and he makes a mistake. Almost hits the wall. He almost does. A Kevin Piskolty move there, but now he gets himself back into the fight, and he finds the side of James Deane's S15 as they fire through outside zone 4. But that was a big mistake for Randalu. They come through. They look for the outside zone, and Randalu takes a brave dive down the inside. Very good driving from Oliver Randalu this weekend, but he has to shallow up and get himself back into this final outside zone, onto the wheel, across the line.
Oh. I'll tell you what, Oliver Randalu, if he hadn't made that mistake, looked good everywhere else, but that was a pretty big mistake.
Yeah, it was.
He just went a little too early on the transition, I think, and he went, oh no. Because you can't really see the wall because of the car in front of you. So when he transitions here, he goes, oh no, I'm in the wrong place, and he knew he'd hit the wall if he transitioned. So is that an incomplete? He does straighten up for a considerable amount of time, but it's on. I'd say I'd be on the fence about it.
It's a knife
I'll tell
edge.
you what it's not going to do. Give you a load of points. That's what it's not going to do.
No, if you did that in qualifying, you would have been way down the order.
Yeah, you wouldn't have been in the show. And I think Oliver Randalu knows he's made a mistake now. And the worst thing is he goes into the lead position, which is really hard to turn the tide, you know. And James Deane, the spotter, will be on the radio saying, kind of don't need to do much here, James. I think if you just stay pretty close, you should be fine. Don't overcommit. And that's really good for Randalu there. I mean, it just showed the potential we had to take on Deane there, because he had the car. He was looking super strong all the way through, and he looked really, really good in the battle before. So, wow. Wasted opportunity, I think, just making that mistake. But now he's in the lead. Well, you never know. You never know.
You never know.
So let's not write anything down just yet. James Deane is in the chase position. If he can get to the top 4, he's got 2 shots at the podium as well. All he's got to do is keep his cool here behind Oliver Randalu. So that's easier said than done when the pressure is this high.
Yeah, it is high as well in the arena right now as they fire through. Randalu on the handbrake, sets himself up nicely for that first outside zone. Deane onto the door line. Look at this, James Deane. He says, well, I don't need to do too much, but I'm going to do all of it. And that's absolutely beautiful from James Deane. Gets the front bumper to the wall, nice transition back, and sets himself up for the outside zone. But he finds himself on the inside a little bit. James Deane now falling a little bit scrappy. Can he get himself back into the fight as Randalu fires big angle on that outside zone 5. They touch and go. Gets himself now to the second to last outside zone. Deane sets himself back up now, gets back into the pocket, into the groove, onto the front wheel and across the line.
Oh, not sure James Deane needed to be that aggressive throughout the whole run, but I suppose that's how he drives.
That's how he drives.
That's how he is. Does have a wobble coming by the gate, just has that little moment where I was like, is he going in the wall? But he, of course, expertly got himself out of trouble. But it was one wobble in that chase run, and I'm not sure he'll be able to get away with that later in the competition if he does get the win here. But let's have a look at it again on the replay. as they go through here. Deane goes right on the door. And I'll tell you what, very aggressive for what was essentially a big advantage.
Yeah.
Could have risked it all there and maybe lost it all.
I wonder if James Deane's using this as a bit of a tester for what's to come up.
Yeah, just here, watch this. He kind of fires in and he has to check up a little bit on the door. Look, he kind of goes, woo, and then he has to go on the inside of the track just to get himself back in the balance. But he gets away with it. It's not a massive mistake, but you know, when it comes down to fine details in the semi-finals or finals, these are the fine details that the judges will look at.
They certainly will, Dave. And Oliver Randalu did the best job he could.
Do you know what? That's a phenomenal lead run from Randalu. And I'm disappointed for him.
Yeah.
Because if he just didn't have that little wobble with the wall, this could have been a very different story. But I think this might be an obvious decision from the judges. Oliver Randalu and James Deane for a spot in the semi-final. It's the machine, James Deane, going through to the semi-final. 4 drivers remain in the competition. Well, 5 drivers technically, because we got it one more time between Więcek and Shanahan, as far as I remember. I'm not getting ahead of myself this time. I'm learning. Don't get too far. We got 5 drivers. We need 4. So we're going to have to go back to that one more time. And we will see Adam LZ take on James Deane in the semi-final in front of 50,000 people. There you go. That's the thing. That's happening right now.
Yep.
If you're a drift fan, you're probably going, what's happening? Is this the Twilight Zone?
Yeah.
What's happening here? So now we got Więcek and Shanahan. So a huge amount of mistakes from both of these guys, which is very uncharacteristic. I think the occasion getting a little bit of the better of the two of them in the first go. And now we've got to see them go back at it again. You can see this man, he's illuminated himself, found a light.
Found a light.
Is he a shining light for Conor Shanahan, or will the Polish fans will Peter Więcek to the top of the podium here tonight? Well, a lot to do between now and then. And I don't know, on the first, we've learned nothing from the first battle, except all they did was mess up. So I think this has got to be smoother, more controlled, and more precise for both of these guys. And we know they're capable of it. Więcek, I think every event in the Supra, he gets better and better and better. And Shanahan, well, I think he's already where he was last year, bar mechanical issues and problems with the car this year. It just has hampered him in that championship race. But neither will want to bow out now.
No.
One of these drivers will face Duane McKeever in the semi-final. Will it be 3 Irish in the top 4? Or will it be 1 Polish driver remaining in front of the home fans? That's a lot of pressure on Peter Więcek right now. And Peter will know that. He's the last chance Poland have at a podium here. Oh, just turn it up a notch for you, didn't they? Just turn it up a notch. He's the only Polish driver left in the competition. And if he goes out now, the Polish will not have a driver. Well, they might have... No, they won't have one on the podium. That'll be it. There could be an American on the podium. Who knows what's going to happen? It's all up in the air. But Conor Shanahan and Peter Więcek are ready to go. They've battled each other many times before. And Marcin just doing a little bit of a quick valet, quick hoover and polish there, just to make sure the 2 cars are okay. Marcin's like, yep, everything looks okay to me. Well, this is it. Hold your breath. Take out your phones. Press record, because 2 of the best in the world are about to go head-to-head again for the biggest prize in the game. Here we go.
Well, this time, will they keep it clean, or will it be another fist fight on circuit? It looks clean so far. Więcek fires it in nice and deep into the outside zone. Shanahan doesn't look like he's got the proximity this time. No shots at the side of that Supra, but now he comes in. Now he takes a shot at the side of the Supra as Conor Shanahan goes for it. Więcek wanders in and out of the outside zone, but he gets himself back into it, back into the groove as he flicks it a long arc, looking for that second to last outside zone. Shanahan stays with him, but there's no hits to the side this time, as Shanahan wants a little piece of the cake, but he doesn't seem to get there this time.
Well, that's much cleaner lead and chase. Only 1 bump, only 1 crash that time, as opposed to 4 or 5. And you can see the damage on Więcek's car, both sides now, taking a couple of hits. It looked to me again at the open, the gate as we call it, the part where you enter into the circuit. Peter again just trying to adapt there, and then Shanahan goes into the side. I think 2 things are happening. Peter's slowing a little bit, and Shannon's diving through, so it kind of created that collision there.
Yeah.
But we're having a conversation, have a look at both cars now to see if they are good to go. And Peter Więcek and Conor Shanahan are lining back up for the second half of this battle. And you know what? This is tense. This is very tense. And Marcin, back to the polish, trying to clean the windows of both cars. Now remember, what the drivers are saying is the tarmac, there's a little bit of dirt on the tarmac. It's not just water, it's starting to fog up the cars a little bit.
I'll tell you what the fogging on the cars is. It's raining outside a
Oh,
ton.
yeah.
And as they're driving from
Yes.
the paddock into the arena, the cars are getting soaking wet and steaming up.
That's what's happening. Very clever, Ian. Not all the time, but on that particular occasion. Here we go, second half of the battle. Więcek starting to bring the heat as he fires in on Shanahan. A spot in the top 4 up for grabs. And look at Peter Więcek. Pinpoint perfect, but a little touch on the door of Conor Shanahan. Now we're starting to see the aggression from Peter Więcek as he transitions through. Absolutely on the edge, on the door and on the wheel. This is what it's all about. Shanahan hits the wall. Więcek hits Shanahan. It's tit for tat as we come through the center of the section. Więcek now makes a mistake as they come through. This is absolutely knife-edge drifting as we take it into the last corner, and they are all over each other across the line. Wow!
Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal, Dave. That chase from Więcek is just insane.
Something wrong with them boys. Oh, I mean, is there more in the tank? I'm not sure there's much more in a chase run than what Więcek threw down there. I'm not sure there's much more you can do. But he makes a mistake here and the Shanahan hits the wall. Oh, it is just hard to call. And these are two of the highest ranked drivers in the world, and it shows.
Yeah.
They are putting each other under severe pressure here.
I want to see where it went wrong. Where was the mistake? Was there any mistakes? A little tag on the door there from Więcek. It was so clean. He's absolutely glued.
So check out the wall run here from Conor Shanahan. This is what I want to see again. Watch the lead car.
You spotted it.
Does Shanahan hit the wall hard? Not here. After this. Watch this. There's a definite, just at the end of the zone, here.
Yeah.
Hits the wall. Hits the wall and Więcek hits him. And
that was the only point.
That was the only point of separation. Then Więcek after that does a kind of a weird thing here where
he goes too early.
Very shallow transition, but he kind of gets back into it again. So a mistake from Shanahan, a mistake from Więcek. Oh, it's tight again. It's tight again. But the proximity from Peter was far more impressive than from Conor the other way around, in my opinion.
I agree.
But then it was a great lead run from Conor.
Yeah.
So you got to look at both ways.
Great lead run.
Yeah. Was that extra little bit of aggression from Peter Więcek enough? Where I'm sitting, it might be, but I'm not sitting in the judge's seat. So let's see who's going to go through to the top 4. We've been at this for a while now. Let's see who's going to get the win. It's Peter Więcek. Peter Więcek gets the win and goes through to the top 4. And there's a Polish man in the top 4 in Poland, and the fans are going absolutely bananas in here.
And rightly so, Dave, and rightly so. We have a real mix. 2 Irishmen, a Polishman, and an American.
Classic.
It sounds like a good dad joke, that.
It does. Sounds like a good night out is what it sounds like. I'll tell you what, this is, you couldn't write it.
No.
McKeever versus Więcek, Deane versus LZ. There's your top 4. You might pick some of it, you wouldn't pick all of it, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you could have probably have picked a couple.
I'll tell you, the man that's going to make it to the final, guaranteed, is the tractor on track, because he will be making sure the surface stays consistent. And if you looked outside, and right now, it is torrential.
Yeah.
So everyone wondered, why did they wet the track? Oh, they should have left it. Well, we had to close the roofs because we knew the storm was coming. And they're saying outside, flooding. Everything is flooded in the paddock. And that's why we're seeing the steaming up on the cars. They're coming in from worse conditions outside, inside to this surface. Now, you might say, hey, why are they wetting the track if the rain is outside? Well, the smoke inside would not be allowed due to health and safety with the amount that would collect in the arena. Also, we have got, health and safety with fire marshals too. We're going to go down to the track with Becky Evans. You're with Conor Shanahan. He's just been eliminated just about by Peter Więcek, but Peter drove well. Conor probably a little disgruntled by that.
Conor, a hard-fought battle, and you're one more time there. Can you tell us from your point of view what happened?
To be honest, I just couldn't follow him. I don't know what he was doing, but he was on the brakes every second he had, and I just struggled to stay behind him and drive that slow in transitions and stuff. But I was also talking to Jack after his battle, and he also found him super difficult to follow, which I honestly thought I should have been battling Jack in a way. But it's been nice, you know. It's hard to beat the local hero in his hometown, I guess. But for sure, I thought we had it in the tank. For sure, mistakes on my side, wasn't perfect, but he was just hard. You know, he was hard to figure out. I've not really battled that Peter, but that's the joys of the game, the joys of this track, changing every single lap, and I'm happy. So we're driving in front of incredible scenes. It's just been, you know, I'm glad it's finished, to be honest. It's one of those days where I'm just looking forward to going back and having a little chat with the team, and one of those seasons. It's been hard. Congrats to Lauri, you know, an insane drive in his battle. I know what that feeling's like, trying to keep that pressure, and huge congrats to him, and I hope he enjoys his first championship as much as I did.
Ready to reset and go for 2025?
Yeah, let's see. Lots going on right now. Big plans in the making, but hopefully we come back. I can't confirm anything right now, but for sure we're in the fight. We want to get another championship under our belt, and I'll try to put everything back together to come back with a better program next year, develop the program as much as we can. Thank you to my team, my incredible sponsors who make this possible, never giving up on me, fighting until the end, and the Conor Shanahan, what we seen last year, will be back very soon, that's for sure.
Looking around this stadium right now, even from when you started, when you were 9 years old, can you believe that drifting has got this big, going from somewhere like Rose Green, Mondello Park, to the biggest stadium in Poland?
No, it's insane. It doesn't make sense, to be honest, as a drift fan. Driving out here for the top 16 parade and seeing this is pretty mind-blowing, and I think it's a huge reward for everybody who's worked so hard involved in the game, you know, everybody who's been a part of national level championships, you know, as of course Drift Masters, you know, Bud Matt, everybody who's been involved from the start. I think they can look at tonight as a huge achievement again, and I hope that it comes back next year and it's even bigger. So I'm proud of drifting, proud of everybody involved, and exciting times ahead for the sport, that's for sure.
Thank you so much, Conor.
Well, Conor Shanahan, he may not have got the championship back-to-back, but he went out on his feet and he went out to a very informed Peter Więcek. And I've got to say, for Peter Więcek to take down 2 Shanahans on his way here, this is not an easy night for him either, to keep the Polish fans in the fight.
Yeah.
As we now head towards the top 4, and a very, very exciting top 4 ahead of us. I think we're going to have some twists in the tail yet to come, Ian. It's been a phenomenal season. We've enjoyed every moment of it. We've enjoyed watching the entire calendar, and this is where we finish up. Duane McKeever will go up against Peter Więcek with an unstoppable force meets an immovable object there in the top 4. We got James Deane going up against Adam LZ, probably one of the fantasy battles for any fan of drifting in the world. And we're going to see it here on a custom circuit that's been built in 2 days, that's torn down in the next 12 hours, and by then we're going to have 3 trophies out of these 4 drivers. Exciting times.
It certainly is exciting times, Dave, and it just goes to show, as Becky just said with Conor, how far drifting has come from the early days of when me and you, Dave, we were way younger and way more good looking, shall we say.
I was shouting this hard when there was 3 men and a dog watching this kind of thing, and now here we are with 50,000 people, and I've got to say I've enjoyed every single minute of the last 15 years of progression for this, and it's an emotional weekend for all of us, Ian, because I'll tell you what, this is what we all dreamed of, right? Something like this, something to show the people that might have doubted our, how much we love this,
our dream,
how far it's going to go, and we're here justified. Every drift fan in the world is justified by an event like this to show you that yes, it was the right time to invest in the sport. It's the right time to invest in these drivers and these personalities, and a thank you to everybody from watching at home to here in attendance, to everybody who's played any part, whether you're a fan, whether you're a judge, whether you're a commentator, whether you're a track marshal. Amazing. And now all we've got to do is sit back, enjoy the final of Drift Masters 2024. 4 drivers for 3 podium spots. Let's head to the top 4. Now it comes all down to this. The top 4, Poland, Ireland, and the USA remain at the biggest drift event in world history. Here we go. Now, first battle, McKeever from Ireland taking on Peter Więcek. Więcek, well, what a fairy tale that would be for him to win in front of the biggest crowd in his home country. But then, look at it another way. McKeever hasn't won an event all year. Even though he came third at the championship, even though mechanical failure knocked him out in Hungary, what if he won here tonight? Wouldn't that just be so justifiable for him? 2 drivers that have been hunting a win for the entirety of this season now have a shot of getting in to their second final for McKeever, as far as I'm aware, 3rd. But I think it will be the first time that Więcek's been in a final this year.
Yep.
And in this new Supra, well, what if he won the last round of the Supra? How much of a threat would he be going into 2025? That's a story that may happen. Another story would be Duane McKeever finally, in a battered and bruised 180SX, gets himself to the top of the podium. He's had so much heartbreak this year with mechanical issues and silly things happening. This could be the perfect night. He's qualified first, he's won the showdown, and he looks unstoppable. This one is going to be really, really tough. But Więcek's been hunting Irish drivers all day. 2 Shanahans disposed of. Can he get rid of a McKeever as well on the way to the final? Well, let's see what happens.
Well, let's see what happens indeed, Dave. We see Duane McKeever down there in the tunnel, ready to enter the track, ready to get this show on the road. We are waiting Peter Więcek in that Supra to make his way onto the circuit, into that tunnel. And we will get this show on the road. 2 shots at the podium for either one of these guys, whatever way it goes. But what a redemption for Więcek. Well, I'm getting that Supra on the podium. What redemption for McKeever to get
a lot
himself
of
on the
people,
podium.
you know, he moved from the S15 to the Super. A lot of people said, oh, bad call.
Bad call.
Well, I'm starting to look like the right call now, because that car, when it's on form, looks unstoppable. And Peter just getting into that car in the tunnel, getting his belts on, getting himself his safety gear on, ready to go in front of the record Polish crowd here. But we've got a lot from all over the world. We've got a lot of Irish in there as well. So there's going to be a bit of a divide in the audience of who they want to see go through to the final. And we still have a McKeever, and we still have a Więcek. You know what? I'm all here for it. These guys have been unstoppable.
They certainly have.
I've got to say, I think Duane McKeever's been putting in the best lead runs of anybody on the circuit, and Więcek's been putting in the best chase runs of anybody on the circuit, and now they go head-to-head. Oh, here we go.
It's going to be fireworks.
Here we go.
It's going to be fireworks.
As they roll out, you can see the fans are ready to see who is going to take home the top 3 podium spaces. Więcek warming his tires. This is pressure for Więcek. He knows he has to perform to his ability, whether it's mechanical failure, whether it's silly things happening over the year. He has to have that big up. And McKeever's probably thinking he's the best driver here that hasn't won an event this year.
Yeah.
And I think both of them will believe they can take the other down here too. There's confidence in those cockpits, I can guarantee it.
There we go, look at this. Peter Więcek absolutely laser focused as he burns the tyres off, gets some heat into him before he pulls to the start line. Więcek ready to do business. I think
there's a lot of warming going on here. There's a lot of tension. And both of these guys are taking their time because they might want to psych the other one out a little bit.
I think there's a little bit of mind games. I was just going to say, I think there's some mind games.
You better believe it. At this end of the scale, there's some mind games going on. I can guarantee you both drivers had a good little look at each other coming out here going, all right, buddy, you ready?
And well, think about this, Dave. Więcek gets to chase Duane McKeever, the higher qualifier, into that first turn.
I'm just going to show you. It just flicked off at the right time. Duane McKeever nearly took the front end off Więcek's car as he went up to the start line. A little intimidation before we kicked this one off. He understeered towards Więcek's car and almost collided, saying, are you ready to go? Because I'm going to get this close to you. It is McKeever in the lead position. Peter Więcek in the chase position. If you're a drift fan, you know what this means. It means it's party time here in the PGE Narodowy as Duane McKeever gives the nod. Says, that lad, I'm going to beat that lad. Oh. And Peter Więcek says, in front of my fans, you're not going to take the trophy from me. We've got it all geared up for our first semi-final of the night. Stakes couldn't be higher.
Oh, they're high, Dave.
This is for all the marbles now, to get yourself into the final. Guarantee a trophy if you win this battle. Guaranteed first or second. Here we go. McKeever revs it up, comes off the clutch. Więcek's with him. This one is going to be fireworks as the Irishman leads in Więcek into the first corner.
Yeah, look at this. Więcek does that signature move, that little dive down the inside onto the wall. They go into the pocket, but now McKeever starts to drive away. Looks like he has a little bit of pace dialed into this car. Oh, a little wobble for Więcek as he avoids the wall. Now that signature dive once again into outside zone 4. He's glued to the side of Duane McKeever, and McKeever keeps it clean and off the wall as they fire through. They look for that touch and go, and they nail it. No mistake this time for Więcek. Super close, absolutely glued. A little tag onto the door, tag onto the wall for McKeever. They both get into the final outside zone, wheel to wheel across the line.
Oh. It's knife edgy, and it's knife edge from start to finish. The Irish believe McKeever's got the advantage. The Polish believe Więcek's got the advantage, and we have no idea, but we're going to try and break this one down. Więcek's move here on the first corner is exceptional, but he bounces into the wall, but it's okay. It doesn't affect the lead car. Gets with Duane McKeever here. This is a mistake from Więcek. Transitions early and goes too early. Has to back out. Changes direction last moment, but he gets back on the door of Duane McKeever. He doesn't let the Irishman out of his sight as they go onto the wall, and McKeever could be wider here, could be more aggressive, but he plays it safe not to bury the car in the wall, and Więcek takes advantage, gets up on the door and puts the work in as they come through the center section of the course. As they transition back, look at these scenes. This is drifting in 2024, folks. Have a look, breathe it in. This is what it's all about.
Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Well, we get to do it all over again a few more times yet, Dave, before we get to go home, because they're back on the line.
Yes,
and now
here we go.
Więcek
I'm enjoying it now. We're
McKeever.
wound up and ready here. I hope you guys at home are enjoying this just as much as we are, because this is what it's all about. Więcek in the lead. McKeever's car barely held together with hopes and dreams as they come down the straight. McKeever goes for the big dive and makes it. Onto the door goes Duane McKeever. Więcek goes to the wall, and here we go. Now the fight's on as McKeever gets into the pocket. Więcek up to the wall, and a transition position on the wall. McKeever and Więcek perfect so far. McKeever fires in, big angle from Więcek, but somehow McKeever stays in it and on the door. And this is as close as it's going to get as they transition back. One more switch and both make it through unscathed as they go back to the wall. Więcek perfect in the lead. McKeever up onto the door, and this one is as close as it gets for a spot in the final. Take a bow, Peter Więcek and Duane McKeever, because that is how it's done.
Unbelievable.
Just no
I'm
words.
Speechless.
No words.
Speechless.
And every time you put any surface, any track, anything out there,
Any
these
conditions.
guys, it doesn't matter. These guys will step up and smash it out the park every single round.
I need to see the replay of this, Dave, because it was just incredible. No mistake really from either guy. Let's be honest.
No, I didn't see anything. I mean, there's a couple of, this moment here from both drivers in the chase, the wall was a little back off moment, but other than that, I mean, I really thought McKeever, and he does dive a little bit early and a little bit soon, but he slides back into the pocket. Look at the proximity. You know, he touched Peter Więcek's car out the window. Unbelievable stuff.
And there was no mistake here. Look at this dive. Boom, straight down the inside from McKeever. That's beautiful stuff. Incredible. Maybe there, a small wobble. We're splitting hairs because these guys are so good. You're just trying to find any little mistake that either of them are making.
Well, the decision has been made by the judges. It's for a spot in the final, the big one, the finale. Who is going to be in that final? And it's Duane McKeever. Duane McKeever goes to the final. He nearly jumps out of his own skin. As finally McKeever has made the final. No mechanical issues, and he's done it. He's beaten Peter Więcek, who will get a chance to contend for third and fourth place on the podium. But it is going to be Duane McKeever going into the final, and the Irish, well, the flags are flying high right now as McKeever finally, all year, he's had to settle outside of that top two steps. Well, now he's got a shot at glory. He's got a shot at a win here in front of the biggest crowd in Europe, 50,000. And boy, did he earn it.
Oh, man, did he earn it. What a drive. Incredible. The chase was just phenomenal. But it doesn't stop there,
No.
Dave. It keeps coming
Yeah.
thick and fast.
Think you're going to get a breath? Forget about
Not a
it.
chance.
Think you're going to get a cup of tea? Forget about it. Stay where you are. I don't care if you're sitting on your seat, you're only going to need the edge of it for the next 10 or 15 minutes as we decide this one. Adam LZ comes to Drift Masters, takes the chance, builds a car for Europe. Said he was just here to have some fun. Well, now the fun stops and the business begins, because he goes up against the pound for pound best in the business. The most successful decorated driver in the history of the sport will go up against probably the biggest personality in the sport for a spot in the final at the biggest event in the sport. That's a lot of bigs.
That's a lot of bigs.
And here we go. It's going to be 1, 2, 3 and send him into that first corner. LZ goes, he knows he can trust James Deere. He knows he can go close, and let's see what happens.
There we go. James Deane fires in. Look at this from Adam LZ, though. Oh, a little too deep on that first outside zone, but now reasserts himself. Looks for the side of that S15. They fire through, and Deane clinical as always. And Adam LZ optimises on that clean lead line. Oh, tags the wall once again. LZ disposes of the back end of that E36. He shallows up the angle. Deane dials it on as they fire through. The touch and go. Now one transition left as they get themselves in to the second to last outside zone. Now LZ starts to apply the pressure as Deane tags the wall. LZ into the pocket, up onto the front wheel, across the line.
Well, you got to give it up for Adam LZ. He brought everything to that fight. He hit every wall, he hit Deane, he hit it all. That was incredible. We didn't see LZ in that chase position in the top 8, with Lauri Heinen's engine giving way. Also, congratulations if you're just joining us to Lauri Heinonen, who is your 24 champion. LZ just using the wall to almost like a catapult to go back into the battle. He brought the fight to Deane. Deane's lead run was a text perfect, you know, just perfect as usual, right?
Yeah.
We have to say it. Look at this. Well, Deane kind of has a little wobble there coming into that zone. You know what? There's a little bump from Deane there. I didn't notice it the first time around. Yeah, bumps the wall, and LZ then bumps the wall. So that might cancel out the mistake from LZ. Definitely loses the boot lid that time. But I've got to say, I didn't expect Adam LZ to bring that level of fight.
It has to, though, Dave. Can't come to Drift Masters and not bring the fight that much to somebody like James Deane in front of all these people.
Yeah, you're not going to step up with James Deane and go, wouldn't really do all right here.
Will he be all right?
Will he be okay?
Do you reckon I can get close?
But I've got to say, it's Deane's under pressure now. He's got to bring a lot of aggression because LZ brought that aggression. Look at this last corner. He's right there. He's up on the door. doing his best to be all up in his business. Oh, great shot. Oh, the drone nearly gets into the passenger seat of Adam LZ's car.
The drone nearly went through the car.
And here we are, whatever's left of the back of that. And Marston said, finally get to use my angle grinder.
Yep,
take off the back end. We've got a bumper bar, we got lights, everything is just falling apart off the back of that. There's nothing left of any of these cars at this stage.
Marston's even got his work gloves on.
Yes, business time. He's using tape
Oh,
to
he's
keep
got the tape out.
Structural tape. He's trying to keep the bumper bar, and the bumper is inside the bumper bar. It's supposed to be outside the bumper bar, just to let you know. So, yeah. Look, it's got one more run to do for the season, or two, maybe. You never know, you never know.
No, it's
three runs, it's got three runs
to do.
Yeah.
Unless it's a one more time.
You never know. We're losing our minds. We hope you guys are too. Adam LZ in the lead position, James Deane in the chase position. The Irishman, to make it an all-Irish final, James Deane needs to bring the heat here. And Adam LZ, well, he's got to get up and gone into this first corner. Deane chasing in LZ into that first corner. Deane leaves it late, but he gets it on time.
Yeah, he does, and LZ fires into that first outside zone. It's really nice from LZ, but opens the door for James Deane as he tags the side of that E36 BMW. They fire through LZ, nice and close to the wall, but Deane replicates it as well. Now follows him into this outside zone. Oh, and Deane's deeper into the zone. He's onto the door, he's onto the wall. A little wobble from both guys as they come firing through. They look for the touch and go. LZ's on an absolute flyer right now as he lines himself up for the outside zone, gets himself into a little dab of the foot brake, and both guys clouded by the smoke as they get into the final zone across the line.
Oh, I don't know. Great proximity from James Deane, and not hitting the wall in the chase run, I think, is a big part of that as well. But I'm still thinking this is closer than you think.
I think LZ's lead was nicer.
There you go.
How about that?
There you go. Let's see if our judges agree, because they never agree with anything we say. So
Whatever I say,
we're caught up in the moment, Ian. That's fine.
Whatever I say is always the opposite. That's what the judges, they always look at me and go, what was you listening at?
I mean, Ian's pretty dumb, so if Ian thinks it must be the other solution.
Yeah.
So here we go. As they transition back, this is really nice from Deane. And when you look at it on the opposite camera angle, really times his transition well. But I think LZ does better in this part of the track. He doesn't bump into the wall. He keeps it smooth. He allows Deane into the pocket there. It's definitely closer than you would have looked at on paper. This is look at that transition from James Deane in the chase position. I gotta say, that is masterclass stuff there, right up onto the door. Look, you can't have a good chase without a good lead, but I think James Deane took every advantage of that good lead and made it work. So, yeah, I was about to say both of these drivers don't know which way it's gonna go, but for a spot in the final to face McKeever, it's James Deane. James Deane is going to the final here in Poland, and it's going to be Adam LZ versus Piotr Więcek in the third and fourth place battle, and we're not complaining about any of that, Ian.
No, none of it, Dave. No. I'm happy with all of it, to be honest with you.
I'm going to go back to my good friend Kev here, and Kev, do you know what? That was a really good battle. There wasn't major mistakes there, and you've been waiting on those battles all night, so proud moment for both drivers, but James just edging it out.
Yeah, absolutely, Dave. Those are the kind of battles that we really do want to see, and we absolutely love judging those. Realistically, both lead runs fairly comparable, minor differences between the two of them, but for us it all came back down to that chase driving. And overall, James just being the slightly cleaner chase driver and having slightly more proximity with less mistakes overall, and it was just enough to take it, but a close battle.
Well, there you go. Adam LZ will be happy. He took James Deane right to the edge, but he didn't push him off the edge.
No.
And now Adam LZ's got a handy one with Piotr Więcek in the third.
Really easy. Really
so he's
easy.
having, he might have got a little bit of a buy run there in the top 8, but then it all came back.
And all the weight was on the shoulders.
The other way right back again. Yeah. So now we move on to our finals. We've got McKeever and Deane in the final. So we're going to go down to Becky Evans. Becky, you are James Deane. He's made it through to the final after missing this event last year. He must be over the moon.
Well, Dave, I think he definitely is delighted. When I had a chat with James Deane this morning, he said to me, do you know what, Becky? I just want to make it into the final here. I missed this event last year, and James, here you are.
This is absolutely a dream come true. After missing this event last year, we're back this year, and under such extreme conditions, we've been fighting with every single driver out there. Every battle is close, the level is so high, but man, we're into the final, and I'm absolutely delighted.
You're going to face Duane McKeever, a fellow Irishman, somebody that you know you can trust on track. You must be excited rather than nervous right now.
I'm absolutely delighted. You know, going back out there, kind of a repeat of last night, myself and Duane. And I know it's going to be a close battle. He's going to risk everything. I'm sure he's faster than he was yesterday, and I have to try to turn it up as well. So let's see what happens. We're going to give it our best, and no matter what,
this is a dream weekend for me, for drifting, for the sport, and for all of the fans that come out watching it. I'm so happy and proud of what we do.
Now, obviously, Lauri has managed to take the championship this round, and I know that you are delighted for him.
Yeah, no, I'm really delighted. You know, I felt like he was so close last year. You know, they started off as a low-budget team, have great support from the Finnish fans, and he's just fought with his close friends, his family, going to every single event, and, you know, he deserved it. So I was the next battle out. After he won the championship, I drove over to him, shook his hand, told him congratulations, and honestly, I kind of felt a bit of relief. I want to focus on FD. This was never the plan to be fighting for a championship in Europe, but we'll take it. It's been a dream year, and I'm just buzzing. This is amazing. Like, look around, it's wow.
Now the playoff battle with Peter, I'm going to put you on the spot here and be like, who do you think's going to win that one? I mean...
So Peter and Adam, I would say, it's going to be hard to beat Peter in Poland. Adam is on one too. It's going to be fast. It's going to be exciting, but I think Peter will have the edge.
And last question, can you give us a quick update on the track conditions out there? Obviously we saw there was it a mistake, or was it the fact that the track caught you out a little bit, that you saw that small contact with the wall?
Yeah, so the track is different every single lap, and you cannot, if you play it too safe, you're not going to be in the zone. So you have to risk it, like the grip is going to be there, and you don't find out if you're hitting the wall until you're hitting the wall. So it's a risk for every one of us out here. And luckily we weren't too deep in it, but yeah, we have to push it, and we're taking some chances.
Congratulations on getting into the final, James, and we'll see you in the final.
Well, there you go, James Deane, happy man, into the final.
Want to know something I just found out?
Tell us your many information secrets you have, Ian.
I just found out, well, there we go, here's the battle tree for the final 4 battles. Will be Więcek to take on Adam LZ and McKeever to take on James Deane. I found out just a few moments ago, Dave, while you was talking to the judges, that if Lauri Heinenen's engine would have blown halfway through that battle and he would have lost, the battle between James and Duane would have been for the title of 2024 champion.
Yeah, so if James Deane was to win and Lauri Heinenen's engine had blown up 10 seconds before it did, we could have a very different story here.
100%.
But you know what?
The engine said, no, we're going to win. We're going to win.
The engine went, I haven't gone this far now.
No, I haven't done all these events and all these.
I've been running around all year. So I'll tell you what, it's very interesting. So McKeever automatically taking 3rd in the championship, Deane automatically taking 2nd, and look at Duane McKeever, happy as he can. And you know what, I'll tell you, I have my pick. I have my pick for the final.
Go on.
I think it's going to be an Irishman. Anyway, we're going to move on, and I'll tell you what, it is going to be all of the marbles now. The trophies are up for grabs. The big podium is set in the middle of the track. Let's head to the finals. So we are moving on to our finals, and I'll tell you what a bunch of finals we have. Peter Więcek in Poland, in the Supra. Can he get that trophy? Or will Adam LZ upset the apple cart, come in here as the only US competitor of all time and be the only US, well, he's already the only US driver that's ever made it this far in a competition? Could he take home a trophy? Could he take home a trophy to the USA? Driftmasters trophy has never gone over the Atlantic before.
Never.
I'm not sure it even has a passport, those trophies. But we'll see what happens as Peter Więcek puts on his belts and gets ready to go. The Polish fans, so I'm going to tell you, are definitely behind Peter Więcek here. They want to celebrate a Polish driver on the podium. But Adam LZ, you know what, you can count him out here, but he's on one this weekend. He feels comfortable in the car. He says he's from Florida. It rains all the time. He drifts all the time in his own compound in the rain. He said he's pretty happy that he'll feel comfortable here. And I'm going to say Więcek and LZ have not been, you know, perfect all the way through this competition. There has been moments where they've been on the ropes, and there's been moments where they've been brilliant. So I think it's going to balance off here. The judges are going to have to keep their eyes peeled here, because LZ and Więcek have both got the potential to win and the potential to throw it away. So I'm going to go quickly over. Kevin, while you're here, we've got the finals coming up. You've watched a lot of these guys all weekend, and I've got to say, you know, it was a big challenge when they put the water down on the track. You guys had to make that call. Thank God you did, because outside the stadium is pretty much we're underwater. But they've managed. Drivers have adapted. They've come out, and the battles have been amazing.
Battles have been absolutely amazing, Dave, and I guess what did we expect with this level of drivers? They're absolutely phenomenal. Anything that we throw at them, they always just adapt to it so quickly. And we knew from watching practice this morning that every driver was going to be locking in that lead line and we're really going to be splitting hairs with it, but obviously everyone was going to be on each other's doors. And realistically, we've gotten some of the best battles that we've seen all year here. Like, it's been so impressive. And I really am excited about this top 4 playoff. Between Peter and Adam and Duane and James, we are going to have fireworks here.
Well, Kevin, it's been a pleasure. You guys all year have had such a tough job to call the winners and losers between Vernon, Maddie, and David Kalas. Everybody here has put so much effort and work into talking with the teams, the drivers. I want to thank you guys for all of your calls. I'm not sure the whole internet's going to thank you or every team on the grid, but somebody has to make the tough calls. And you know, by doing the job you're doing, not everyone's going to agree, and you're going to get some hate for it, but it takes a lot of courage to stand up and do what's best for the sport and put your own personal, I suppose, enjoyment aside to try and decide these battles. So we really appreciate it that you guys have been so, and it's been tough from all the different conditions and challenges you've had across custom circuits, across all over of Europe. We commend you guys, and I said it's the toughest job in drifting. You guys have done an awesome job. So I want to thank you guys before we head into these finals. So well done from us. And Ian, you've been okay too.
Cheers, Dave.
Yeah, so we're going to move on to our finals, and we're going to have Adam LZ take on Peter Więcek in, well, this is for a trophy.
This is for a trophy.
A pretty coveted trophy for both of these.
Yeah, the first.
Could LZ finish the season with a trophy? Could Więcek, this year in the Supra, in front of his home fans, finish this year with a trophy? It may seem like the consolation prize of third place. For both of these guys, this is for all the marbles right now. LZ will be in the chase position. Peter Więcek will be in the lead position. And I've got to say it, from where I'm looking right now, you never know. You just never know with Drift Masters. We sit here and say, well, he's a 3-time champ. He's in Poland. He should win this. We've said it before, you just don't know. Adam LZ's got nothing to lose. He's not got the pressure Więcek's got of all his home fans and family around him. So let's see what happens as they come off the line for a third step on the podium. Więcek's off like a rocket.
Yeah, he's not messing around, Dave. He would have turned that car up to 11 once again. Now he fires through, but look at this from LZ. LZ's not messing around. Oh, gets a little close, has to back out of it. As Więcek now goes for it, looks for that inside zone, and he nails it as he fires through bumper to bumper as they transition into this outside zone 4. And look at Adam LZ. Oh, contact. Adam LZ gets a little punch in the face from the back end of that Supra, gets himself back into it as Więcek now fires through on that last transition, looks for this second to last outside zone. LZ gets himself back into the mix, back onto the side of that Supra, glues it to the door and across the line.
I think this one's going to be a little bit, you're going to see this on the replay, just from initial watching, because of course you're talking.
I'm talking about,
you're thinking,
it's a blur, it's a blur.
It's a blur to you,
Words
but I was
just
watching
come
that.
out.
This is going to come down. Did Więcek hit the wall and back into LZ? I'm not sure that happened, but on first look, I'll have a look at it.
That's what you thought?
I think Więcek may have hit the wall and gone back into LZ ever so slightly, but let's see. I could be wrong.
Well,
I've been wrong at least 17.
Never lies.
Yeah, I've been wrong 20 million times this year. So watch Więcek in the lead. Does he hit the wall and bounce back into LZ? So it looks like LZ is coming in very hot. It could be his fault.
Oh, he does hit the wall.
So does Więcek hit the wall and bounce back into LZ?
Watch this, right before the entrance to the track. Ready?
Bounce,
Boing.
bounce.
Boing.
Now that's, I'm not sure if LZ was always going to hit him anyway. Let's see, let's see.
Boom, boom.
Yeah. I don't know if I mean, LZ was really pushing in there too. Now I'm back.
But was he controlling it?
Yeah, but I'm backing in the other way now going, I think LZ was on shallow angle, moving at speed. Was he going to hit him either way?
Well, a good job it's not for us to decide.
No, we make no decisions around here, Ian. Only how to describe it.
Yes.
And I think at the moment that's a 50-50, as I would say. You could say Więcek does touch the wall, but LZ's going too fast and he shouldn't hit him, or you could say that Więcek bounces back into LZ.
But my argument on that, Dave, is you never know that LZ's not going to hit him because we never get to see that part.
Good point, yeah. Anyway, we're in the second half. Here we go. LZ in the lead position. It is Peter Więcek in the chase position. Here comes a Peter Więcek. Absolutely has to do or die special now.
Yeah, and we know he's got that chase absolutely dialed in, and look at this. Already he's on the door, and this is no messing around for the Polishman right now as they fire through. Absolutely textbook on that inside zone. They get into this long outside zone, and they tussle once again. Wheels clatter against each other, and they hustle and bustle through the middle of the circuit. Adam LZ trying to take it to the Polishman right now as they fire through. More contact once again as Więcek brings the fight to the American and bullies him across the line.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Więcek absolutely bullies LZ around the track. He must have hit him 25 times in that run.
Easily.
That was insane. Oh, I don't know. Oh, I wouldn't want to be a judge. I'm glad I thanked them before this because it is tough.
It is tough.
It's really tough because you've got to look at that. Look at the initiation from Więcek. He's out of his mind.
He's
out of his mind. He must have hit him 20 times. And he didn't do enough hitting him to spin him or knock him off course. Oh, look at that from Więcek on the chase. That is phenomenal. You're watching just insanity here on track. So a lot of contact from Peter. Look at this. Hits him here. Hits him hard there, to be honest. Yeah. Hits him hard.
The drone gives you such a different perspective of the contact.
View, yeah. And then they transition back again. And look at this. Więcek goes in.
This is where he starts throwing punches, Dave.
Yeah, he just goes, hello, Adam. Oh, the tire is so close. Does he hit him? The drone is right there in the mix. How the drone doesn't hit the two of them, I don't know. Yeah, there's a couple of punches there as well. You can see LZ scraping the wall. Oh, it's tough. Great driving from both of these guys, but it's going to be for third step on the podium. Will it be Poland or will it be the USA? Will it be Więcek? Will it be LZ? Adam LZ has taken third step on the podium. What a ridiculous outcome here in Poland. I think I nearly imploded.
You nearly imploded. So deserved though, Dave.
Oh.
We need to find out why though, because it was clinical for
Adam
both
LZ
guys.
comes third step on the podium here in Poland in the biggest event of the year.
But why, Dave? Why?
Oh,
we need to know
Kevin,
why.
there was a lot of crashing. There was a lot of thrills and spills. How did you call that one?
It was absolutely phenomenal driving by both drivers, guys, but realistically, even though Peter was excellent in the chase position, it all comes down to the first run. And if you saw, I think you guys called it as well, Peter coming into outer zone 4, comes in a little bit too hot, as you can see here. Ends up making contact with the wall, shoots his car back, hits Adam in the front wheel. Massive, massive mistake, causing Adam to have a huge error behind him. We obviously deemed Peter to have been at fault for that, and therefore a huge advantage was taken away. Overall, that is the defining moment in this battle, and it's what it all comes down to, and it's why Adam gets the win.
There you go.
Just that one moment.
Well, it's all about moments.
One moment.
It's all about moments, and I'll be honest, you know, I'll tell you what, if Adam LZ woke up this morning and thought he was going to get a podium here in Poland, he would have probably said, you know what, I'll give it a good go.
What a shot.
It's just been one of those nights for Adam LZ, and to take home on his final event of the season a podium, unbelievable. Adam LZ takes third, but who's going to win it? I've got some big news for you, but I'm going to get to that in a moment because we are heading to the final. Okay, so I'm hearing news, big news, news flash. I thought it was all decided in the championship.
I called it.
But it's not. It's not decided. We have now done the math. The abacus has been thrown left, right, and center and out the window. This final between McKeever and James Deane will decide who comes second in the championship. We've done the math, and whoever wins will be second in the championship. So there is more than just this trophy up for grabs. There's second in the championship. There's the first place at the biggest drift event ever, and two guys who have been probably slamming into each other for about 10 years in Ireland will go head to head. Northern Ireland versus Southern Ireland. Deane versus McKeever, qualifier number 1 against the best ranked driver on the grid. And this is the last 2 runs of the night. You can see the phones are now illuminated in the stadium. What a moment, what an event, what a time to be alive here in drifting. And Duane McKeever and James Deane, who have battled each other in Ireland, in the UK, in Europe, in many pubs up and down the tip of Europe. They're now going to battle in the biggest stage of them all as Duane McKeever leads. He's the higher qualifier. He's won the qualifying showdown. For the perfect event, he just has the small task of beating James Deane. James Deane said, I came back this year. I missed this event last year, and I'm winning the thing. And remember, if Lauri Heinen's engine had given up 10 seconds earlier, Deane, well, this could have been for the championship, but now it's for second in the championship. And McKeever and Deane will know that. They've been informed behind the scenes. This one is for a huge amount of championship points. Marcin gives the word. The last 2 runs of the night, the last 2 runs of the year. McKeever to lead in Deane. Here we go.
No messing around for Duane McKeever as he flicks that car across the circuit. Look at the straight line approach from James Deane. He door and he gets into it, but he gets into the wall, disposes of some body panels, and now hunts down the side of the Northern Irishman as they fire through. Deane goes for a brave transition. He goes for it. He looks for the side. Both guys touch the wall. There's a wobble on a waver and some lost ground from James Deane as McKeever stays rock steady. He now flanks the car across the circuit towards the wall. Deane shortcuts it, makes up that lost ground, looks for the side of that 180SX. The last outside zone approaches and they're door to door.
Oh, well, that was a calm one. Nothing too much risk there.
No, not a lot.
Oh, my goodness. Nothing left. I mean, there was just in the wall, on the door. They have mastered this track now. This is the best two. And even Deane goes in the wall and loses a bit of his car on the first. McKeever goes in the wall as well. They're just pushing so hard now, Ian.
They certainly are, and it was McKeever's bumper that came off and went under the back of James Deane's car and got spat out. Unbelievable. This was just incredible. James Deane timed this transition perfectly. Both of them did, and they get into it. But then there was a little bit of lost ground. James Deane had to shallow up the angle and then make that fight back up onto the door. This wasn't easy for Deane. This wasn't a walk in the park, but he certainly managed to get there, that's for sure. And then he brought the fight after this. Little touch and go right in the middle of the circuit. Big transition, very fast. Deane slots his car into formation, and then he fights McKeever the whole way to the finish line. Unbelievable stuff. Well, one more run to go, potentially, to decide the winner of round 6. Oh, look at that contact from Deane as well, right across the line, rear wheel to rear wheel.
Holding nothing back, holding nothing back here. It could be the last run of 2024, and it is for second in the championship. James Deane versus Duane McKeever to finish us off here in Poland. I'll tell you what, this one is a huge, huge 50 seconds for both of them. James Deane in the lead position, McKeever in the chase. Deane going big and wild at the start. McKeever waits, and now McKeever goes.
Yeah, McKeever waits for him to get himself set up, now goes for it, now dives down, and James Deane perfectly on the outside zone, tickles the back bumper along the wall, but doesn't do too much. Now flicks through, front bumper onto the wall, a little moonwalk, a little back step for James Deane, but he's perfect on that line, and now that opens the door for Duane McKeever as he glues that 180SX to the door the whole way round the outside zone. James Deane goes for it, he fires the car across the circuit, and absolutely fires in does Duane McKeever as he's wheel to wheel, bumper to bumper, both guys shredding. They fire on the angle across the line.
Oh, God, there's nothing left. There is nothing left in this event. We've seen it all from start to finish, and I'll tell you what, those two finalists right now, the best we've seen on the track all weekend. Unbelievable. It showed it. What a final.
What a
Sometimes
final.
you look at that final, you say it's never going to live up to the hype. Boy, did it live up to the hype.
Oh, it certainly did,
Unbelievable. Ian, I am not trying to call that one. That is far too close for me.
Nope, nor am I.
I am not getting involved in this one, because that, to me, there was moments of brilliance left and right. Well, judges are going to break this one down, and they got some work to do.
They certainly have got some work to do. I'm just taking a look back at the replay, and this lead from James Deane was so good, and it just encouraged a perfect chase from Duane McKeever. McKeever was glued to the side of James Deane's S15 the whole way around. No separation, no backing down. Duane McKeever wanted it more than ever. Look at this from McKeever. He couldn't have been closer, Dave, if he tried.
Well, I'll tell you what, I've got to say, from start to finish, this event has been amazing.
Yeah.
The final's been amazing. The results have been unpredictable, but amazing. I think Lauri Heinonen deserves that championship. I think everyone who's watched the championship would agree with that. But boy, did we get treated to some bonus time after that, because Więcek and LZ, McKeever and Deane just brought the fight, battle after battle. And I mean, there's nothing left at the back of the car, the front of the car. I guarantee there's not much left in general
No.
for any of these. And the pyro, look at the setup, look at the crowd, look at the phones, look at the lights. I mean, this is just wild.
And this is drifting.
This is a sport that started off from people skidding around in a car park. And here we are in the biggest, most expensive car park in the world. I mean, they turned into a circuit. And, you know, following Taylor Swift, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Harry Styles. But I'll tell you what, none of them have put in as good a performance or as much energy as Duane McKeever and James Deane have to be top step on the podium tonight. The results are going to drop in very shortly. We're going to know who's won this. We're going to know who's taken second in the championship. And I'll tell you what, right now, it could go either way.
It certainly could go either way, and the judges are still trying to work it out, Dave. They're still looking at the replays. This one, I don't think, was as clear-cut as it seemed. Either way, the Irish fans are going to return back to Ireland happy because one Irishman will be on the top step of the podium.
I know, but that's way too difficult.
Where it looks like we might have a decision dropping in from our judges.
Oh, our scores in. It looks like the scores are going in. Scores are going in. Here we go. Are the scores? We don't know. We don't know if the scores are going. Are the scores in? They're in. They're in.
We go.
Here we go. The winner of round 6 of Drift Masters is Duane McKeever. Duane McKeever wins the final round of Drift Masters. He's done it. He's had a hard year. He fell in Hungary with mechanical failure, but he's back in Poland, and it's the biggest win of his career. And James Deane says, Duane, you've won it. He can't believe it. For 4 years, he's been waiting for this moment, and he's got it. And for everyone who's a fan of Drift Masters, Lauri to take the championship and Duane to take the win today, I think that's the right emotional moment of how close they've come so far in this championship.
100%, Dave. What an incredible day for drifting. What an incredible championship. What an incredible year. McKeever takes first place, James takes second, Adam LZ, the first American in Drift Masters history to take third place and take a podium and take a trophy back across the pond. He'll be stoked with that, and look at that, and a Polishman in fourth place. We're going to go down to Becky. Becky, high emotions down there. Duane McKeever gets the win.
Duane, all you needed was your car to stay with you, and guess what? She did. You are the winner of round 6 of Drift Masters Championship. How are you feeling right now?
I don't actually laugh for words at the minute. I can't. They come from such a really bad round before. I haven't got a win in ages. I've had like loads of seconds and loads of thirds, and I've just been really hunting for the first place, and it just, whenever the car holds the gas, it shows that I'm capable of doing it. I doubted myself for a while, but look, the car holds up. I know I can do it. Just takes the right time and the right place for me, but I'm lost for words at the minute.
I've been watching your family and your girlfriend absolutely screaming for you. They are delighted. It must be wonderful to have them here with you to see this.
I've had like 40 people that have come the whole way from home to watch me this weekend. And it's a lot of pressure on myself because I feel like I've travelled a lot, to spend a lot of money, and they're here watching me. And if it went wrong, I feel like I've let them all down. But for me to come this far and win the event, it's just unbelievable, and I just can't wait to have some fun with the guys tonight and really enjoy myself.
Duane, congratulations. You are the winner of round 6, the final in PGE Narodowy. Congratulations.
Well, there we go. Duane McKeever wins the final round of Drift Masters 2024. And what a way to do it. A clean sweep. Not only did he top qualifying, he won the qualifying showdown. And, well, he went and won the whole event. And here we go. The point standings after this weekend. Duane McKeever gets to win. James Deane comes in second. Adam LZ in third. And Peter Więcek in fourth place. And Lauri Heinonen, well, he rounds out the top 5. The 2024 champion gets it in there in the top 5. Conor Shanahan, well, he wouldn't have had the greatest year so far, but he still ranaged to finish 6th. And there we go, Randalu and Piskolty also finishing in 6th place today. So the celebrations are about to begin, but first we have a look at the emotions from this man when he won the championship, taking down Benediktas Čirba in top 16. That was all he needed to do, and well, it was all the car had left in the tank after an incredible tough season. The emotions finally came out of a man who we always call the stone cold killer because he never shows those emotions, and this is it. This is what the championship looks like after 6 rounds. Lauri Heinonen is your 2024 champion. Duane McKeever takes 2nd place. James Deane rounds out the podium in 3rd. Conor Shanahan, after a tough year, still comes 4th. And 5th in the championship, Paweł Korpuliński with an incredible drive. Well, let's take a look at some of the best scenes from 2024, because, my God, it has been an incredible season for this young man, Lauri Heinonen. This is how he did it. From Spain, from Valencia, he started off that championship fight, managed to take 2nd place on the podium alongside Kevin Purser, who said to me, this could be the year. I'll come back with a new car and I feel on form. And Lauri Heinonen, well, he almost got the job done and almost took top step, but it wasn't an easy event for him. From there, we went to Mondello Park in Ireland, And from there we went to Finland, where he took the win in his home event against some of the toughest competitors, and he did it. The emotions flooded out. He said it was a fairy tale. And well, another win in Hungary led him to this. A top 16 was all he needed to take the championship in 2024 as Duane McKeever and James Deane celebrate. After an incredible day, an incredible weekend, the lights now dim at the PGE Narodowy in Poland for our podium celebrations. Becky, it's back down to you with Lauri Heinonen, our 2024 Drift Masters champion.
Lauri, I'm just going to ask you one question. Has it sunk in yet?
Yeah, now it's starting to sink in, yeah. And we found a proper tractor on the pit, so yeah, we got to the stadium.
Honestly, we are so happy for you out here. I know you fought hard all season, and tonight you get to celebrate. What are the plans?
Yeah, just celebrate like never before.
What did you think of the final battle between Duane and James?
Yeah, those guys are the best in the world, so I'm happy to be here with those guys.
And we will obviously see you in our 2025 season.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, enjoy the celebrations this evening, Lauri. You absolutely deserve it.
Thank you, thank you.
Well, there we go. A man whose emotions now start to come out, and you can see the celebrations down on track begin. And Teemu Peltola, well, he towed out Lauri Heinenen's car because he said, you weren't missing this one. There we go. This is how it stacked up in 2024. Kevin Paseur took the win at round 1 in Spain. James Deane took the win in Ireland. In Finland, Lauri Heinonen won his home event. In round 4 at Latvia, Conor Shanahan did it. He got on the top step of the podium to be crowned the King of Riga. Lauri Heinonen came back with a fight, though, and won in Hungary. And here in Warsaw, in Poland, Duane McKeever, after a tough year, wins the final round of 2024. Well, from me, from Dave, who's disappeared to the podium to do the celebrations, and from everybody behind the scenes here at Drift Masters, it's been an emotional year. Will you join us for 2025? Because boy, have we got one hell of a season coming up. We'll see you soon. Take care.